When the night falls and the winds get loud, and I can't see past the weight of the clouds, I remember who holds every tear. I take a breath and live without fear. Been through trials, fire and pain, but his promise cuts through the rain. I don't need to have all the control. I got peace that anchors my soul. I won't break, I won't run, my battle's already been won. He's my light, always near, that's how I live without fear. I won't fold, I won't hide, he's the strength I keep inside. Storm may come, I persevere, 'cause I live, yeah, I live without fear. People talk, they throw their stones, but grace reminds me I'm not alone. I don't need to prove a thing, I'm walking with the King of Kings. This world shakes and tries to shake me, but I stand firm, faith won't break me. Every shadow's got to disappear. When God is close, I live without fear. I won't break, I won't run, my battle's already been won. He's my light, always near, that's how I live without fear. I won't fold, I won't hide, he's the strength I keep inside. Storm may come, I persevere, 'cause I live, yeah, I live without fear. It's not about being perfect, it's about trusting the one who is. Even in the valley, he's still God. I won't break, I won't run, my battle's already been won. He's my guide, always near, that's why I live without fear. I won't fold, I won't hide, he's the truth I hold inside. Let the world know I'm still here, standing strong, living without fear. Faith over fear, always.
Praise God. God bless. Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to another Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I'm not so sure about this virtual background thing. It seems a little unnatural to me. But I hope, and I'm getting the adjustment. The Live Without Fear song, man, that really does something for me. It feels right to me. So I hope those of you, there's an adjustment. I know there was a lot of appreciation for that high energy piano opening, but there's something to be said about a song with the brand. Live Without Fear. And so I hope you enjoy. For those tuning in later, just so you know, it's about 2 minutes, 50 seconds. If you're tuning in late, you don't want to repeat listening to it all the time, just skip ahead. It's easy to do, right? We figure these things out. Praise God. Praise God indeed. See, today the topic, finding peace from a world of the damned. There's a reason behind these ideas, and I got a lot of hope and some inspiration to share. I've had such a blessed day, feeling blessed is what I mean. And I'm excited to see where the day may lead and what may come forth through us together, because the background today is the message of peace. And from the scripture, the idea of hope, but properly placed hope. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will fly up on wings like eagles. They will run and not be tired. They will walk and not be weary. Doesn't it sound nice to be able to walk with a little bit of freedom and peace and really feel like you're soaring right? That you can fly and soar above. Here's something I recognized. It's pretty simple and obvious when you stop and think about things. And I think that's my purpose in life at this time. My purpose, what God has had me doing by my choice and opportunities. I've been spending a lot of time thinking, observing, understanding what is going on. And once you see it, then you can feel it. Once you feel it, you can know it. And so what I've seen and what I feel like I know what I'm talking about. Truly, love renews faith. Love renews faith. Hope in the Lord, Lord of faith, of love, right? That's what Jesus is, the Prince of Peace, the Lord of love, the King. To rule the world will be love, God's love. God's will is to love. Through love, you find faith. True love. True love. And we can get into that too. Fear plays a false god in the lives of many today. Look at the news. And what I'm talking about is people have given their power away to fears that they cling on to and give power to. I used to do those things. And then eventually, by God's grace, I found a way out of my darkness and towards the light of love, the light of truth, the light of God. Once you see, you cannot unsee. God's perfection is glorious. And I don't want to see beyond or anything from God's perfection for myself. What I've learned, though, is fears. You can give power to fears, or you can take power back from fears and study them. Discover what you can learn. See, when fears are surrendered to the higher power, you discover that the true source of your strength has always been from God. From the truth, from love. True love has created the universe. The universe has been offered forth from and through and for true love. True love is who you and I are created to become. We were created that way, and then we stepped away from the truth and from love, and we built these lives where we're dependent upon title and, approval and fiat currency. What I've been working on myself, consider these words for you and see if you can get the feeling. Aligning with God's will for you to love. Aligning with God's will for you to love can help you grow stronger in your understanding of faith. Have faith that love is what you want. Have faith that love is the answer. Because truly, it's really the only way to be once you figure it out. Whoops, what have I got here? Caged reality. Much love to you, my friend. For the sake of love. Much love to all. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to drop the link here shortly. There's a couple of ideas I've been bouncing around inside my head, and I'm probably going to unpack these a little bit more in the future. I wanted to be more prepared with some graphics and slides to highlight these a little bit. But the idea of the fairy tale of America, the American dream, things are not as they seem. But we exist in this realm, and things are the way that they are. We are in the world of the damned. This idea actually came up because I was communicating with friends today offline, and I've had some amazing opportunities. God has blessed me today with some wonderful people and some opportunities to share blessings and to receive blessings. And so I feel blessed indeed for today. Why did I bring that up? Just pause and breathe and be still with me in the present. Because in the present is where we get to feel. This is it. This is the life we get to live. It's up to each of us to accept it. Earlier in my blessings, I sent a friend a text and I was excited. I was so moved by spirit and good feelings. I was ready to go live like, I don't know, 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago. And I texted a friend today, I'm damned inspired. And so then I was thinking about what that means to be damned inspired. Are those words true? Yep, they most certainly are, because this is where I figured it. We live in a world of the damned. Oftentimes, thank you, my friend. Oftentimes in this life, we're damned if we do. We're damned if we don't. We're damned if we're truly damned if we don't pay attention. Okay? And it's really easy to get worried in the contradiction. Oh, if this happens, oh, if this happens. And then you're not paying attention to what's really happening or what really did happen when you weren't paying attention. The world we live in, man, it's so bizarre and so perfect. Pause. Don't resist the perfection. Okay, the perfection will step away from you. The love will step away from you. The truth will slip away if you don't seek to unite and give it some of your own attention. Love is what I'm talking about. And you can only feel love through you. You are the gateway to your love, to the expansion of your love. But all love, in my opinion, all ideas, all feelings come from God. Okay, so it's by the grace of God that love is known. I thought I knew love when I was young, and I did not know healthy love. And it was no fault of anyone but my own. Because I chose to be dishonest. I chose to be distrusting. I chose to be angry. I chose to be afraid. And then I chose to say, I don't want those choices anymore, ever. I'm sick of being angry. I'm sick of being afraid. I'm sick of not knowing what to do. So what? What are you going to do about it, kid? I surrender. I surrender myself to God. It is through God's grace that I get to be as I am and where I am today and always that I get to be, just like you. It's through God's grace and God's will that the day turns to night, the seasons change, and we are. There is a divine intelligence that we cannot comprehend, especially individually. This divine intelligence I'm talking about is the power and source of all things, the universe, and the expression of life that is contained within the universe. I'm pointing at you. I'm pointing at me. There's an intelligent design to everything. Don't think you can outsmart reality. You will not. God's love is to be known. It's to be found. It's to be sought. Think about any relationship, right? Because God is like the universal relationship. It's the enigmatic power behind the expression of life, time, and love. It's incredible when you put God up on the high place where it belongs and you put yourself where you are. You can allow yourself to feel good. And you can allow yourself to relax. And once you can allow yourself to relax and feel good, you can actually physically feel your nervous system inside and you can actually process a lot of emotion, a lot of tension from the past just by surrender. And if you don't know how to relax, I've got a lot of tips and a lot of ideas, and I welcome anyone interested to reach out. Yes, breakfast tacos. The designer of the experience that we share. Now, I am of the idea that we are what life as we know it is. It's not as real as we believe. First of all, the physical reality is only real to the physical reality. To the spiritual reality, it is seen as what it is. It's just a place and time for experience to be lived. And that's what you and I are. We are experiences who are living today. And if you think those thoughts through, what does that mean? It means when you're honest, you become the living truth of today, of who you are. And that's the simple goal, to be true to who you are. But to be true to you, you must see you in others, every other, not just pick and choose. Oh, yeah, I'm like these few people. These people understand me, but those people, they don't understand me, and I don't understand them. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to overcome your selfishness, your self-centered nature. It's quite primitive and childish when you really stop and think about it. The ego, the selfish ego that's always seeking attention and fighting for power, fighting for control. It's a fool. What that is a stunted child, typically from a child that received some trauma and didn't have a compassionate ear to turn to. Okay, that's what trauma comes from. It's not finding a connection at the time that you need it. And then you start fabricating all these ideas of what everything means. And then you create a new identity for yourself where you're numb and hardened. And you don't think clearly because you're still hurt. And those hurts, those pains cause you to be distracted sometimes. When you're distracted, you get frustrated and then you get angry. And if this isn't you, it's not you. I'm talking about how I used to be. I sure do understand, right? I sure do understand. Trauma sucks, man. And this too. The exact opposite of the other. The absolute is ineffable. Ineffable in my mind. I don't have a clear definition of the word, but I understand it to be like beyond definition, inexplainable. It's just you can point at it, but you cannot define it. You can't limit that which it is. That's my belief. Hey, much love to you all. I think I may drop the link here pretty soon, but I want to point out some simple and obvious ideas, okay? You choose each day, who are you going to serve? You choose each day, whether you're aware of it or not, who are you serving? If it's just a boss, you're serving a routine. If it's a paycheck, you're going through the motions just to see what you can get or to get what you can receive. You're missing out on the opportunities of growth, life, and change. And to tie something back before I get back to these, I know the importance. I was speaking with others today about the importance of being present, right? Offering an ear, an outside perspective, right? That is so valuable. And it really is a gift that every one of us can share if we remember to share instead of fight. It's a lot more fun when we share instead of fight. And really, when we're fighting, all we're doing is sharing fighting anyway, because that's what life's about. It's all about relationships. There's one relationship that I seek continuously. My own personal relationship with the mystery of the creation of life. Now, to understand the mystery of the creation of life, I've got to pay attention to my life and the life I'm living. And the life I'm living is surrounded by all of this other life that's happening with me. So what I've been coming to realize is there is but one God, one universe, one time, one you, one me. There is no separation from anything whatsoever. It's just what we believe. So don't let the mind confuse you. It'll drive you insane. We live in a world of the damned, where people will damn you whether you're doing the right thing or not. And they'll also enable you if you're doing the right thing or not. So don't allow yourself to get confused. I did. So my personal goal is to continue to grow in my personal relationship with God. I know God as the creator of the day, that which brings forth the opportunities and the results. I know the source of creation to be the source of the beginning and the end, and I'm just here in between trying to figure out, where did I begin? Where am I going to end? I don't know. I've really kind of mentally surrendered, not given up, but truly surrendered to where I'm at. And each day, I got up today. I don't know what I'm going to do each day because I don't know what ideas or opportunities are coming forth. And my life is kind of still in this transition period where, I allowed myself to fall to pieces. And then I walked away from everything I was and everyone I knew. And so I'm still kind of picking up my pieces and reinventing who this Jack Talcott guy is becoming. Who is he really? Well, my prayer and my goal is what it is. Today, I simply want to share some inspiration and encouragement to you, whoever it is that you might be. We don't have to live in a world of the damned, okay? And we can argue, when I open it up, we can argue about what these words mean, the world of the damned and such, but think about this. Those moved by fear, they choose violence. Those moved by fear will choose violence because they'll get angry in their fear, and anger will cloud judgment. Okay, that's why we live in such a violent and selfish world, is because fear has been propagated. It's been profited from. Fear has been used as a controlling mechanism, a controlling power. Why? Why has fear been so effective? Because people didn't have faith. When you lack faith, you find fear. What? What do you mean? What do you mean if you lose faith, you lose faith, you gain fear? What do you mean, Jack? Well, it's pretty simple and obvious. Okay, to overcome your fear, face it. Have faith. Have faith that your fear, your pain is there for a reason, created especially for you. Maybe it's karma, maybe it's a lesson. It's a gift because you get to know. If you get to know about your life again today, you're still alive. And if you're still alive today, you're not done. And if you're not done today, that means there's no reason to give up. And if there's no reason to give up and you're not done, that means any opportunities could come forth. You never know what you might learn today. And I hope, if you're tuning in, I hope you find something helpful. Because what I realized is truly fear is a false God. A false God is not real. A God would be something that would have power over me, but there is no power over me from fear, not when I have faith. And truly, you grow in your love. You start focusing on intentionally perfecting your love, allowing there to be no excuse not to love. I love without fear, so I can live without fear. And the two go hand in hand, life and love. There's no separation. Fear is the false God that will separate life and love. It's the crazy paradigm. So we can overcome the world of the damned. Two simple tricks. Overcome the world of the damned by knowing where you are and who you are. Okay, so know and detach. Let go. Let go of all the worldly things. And think about your memories. All your memories came from the world. All your beliefs, all your religious beliefs, your political beliefs, your personal beliefs, they came from the world. Let them go. Let them go to be with God. Escape the world on your own, but only through, I assume, only through the grace of God. So seek to know the grace of God. It's only unworthiness and shame that creates the world of the damned. The guilty and the shame run around condemning and judging because they haven't reconciled what is real. And what is real is God. And you want to know what is real. And I encourage you to convince yourself you want to know more about God. Even if you've had a lifelong relationship with a particular religion, I encourage you to expand your education. Find out what other people might have known, because that's how you learn. It's how you grow. You continue your education continuously. Brothers and sisters, that's the way to become greater than you used to be. Hello, I hope people are paying attention to this, because it's so simple and obvious, but it's so seldomly practiced. At least in my past, in my circles, my past circles. To grow in this life, it's so simple and obvious. You become more value when you gain in knowledge and experience. So when you're fighting and arguing the same routines over and over, reliving the same patterns over and over, you might have gone insane. Okay? Because if you're living the same life day after day after day, week after week after week, the same life, the same routine, you're not living, you're surviving. And survival is not, well, you know what? Good for you. Good for you for finding a way to survive. I don't want to knock anybody, because we all got our own paths in lives, but I want to encourage you to believe there is greater. There is greater than just surviving for you, because that's what I found for myself. And I believe that I'm just an ordinary man like anyone else. What I can do, anyone else can easily do. What I can understand, anyone else can easily understand. And I feel as though I found my purpose for my life. It's to be here and now with you. And there's a purpose for you, whoever you are. And whenever you hear these words, I trust in that. Because if you were not here and now where you are, when you are, if that were not true, then you would not be. But since you and I, we get to be a part of that which is, and that which is here in the world today, that which is true here in the world today, that which is, I don't know how to politely say these things, because what I want to do is I really, really, really want to swear about the state of this nation of America that I raised my hand to serve when I was a child. And I took my oaths about serving the greatest good. I took that seriously. I allowed it to become a part of me. And I still believe in that. I don't know if I mentioned this. Here, I'll drop the link, and then I'll talk about me some more. I hope these ideas are coming through for people. Hey, we got quite a few tuned in here, man. Praise God. Thank you. For those who may wish to join today, you're welcome to do so. And if you're new here, please make sure to do the subscribe and hit that bell thing, because there's some pretty cool stuff happening with this Live Without Fear. Okay, now I was going to talk about me, and I can't remember why I wanted to talk about me. It'll come back. It'll come back. The idea is finding peace. That's the goal. Now, only you can allow you to feel peace, just like only I could allow me to feel peace. If you treat it like a reward where it's only available to you on special occasions, then you might be kind of missing the point, right? The idea is to feel your feelings, to know who you are, and to once you know your feelings, you no longer allow your feelings to become you. You become the gateway, and you restrain, you choose the feelings you choose. That's what you do. I do. Welcome back, Cage. How are you today, my brother?
I'm doing well, thank you, Jack. Good afternoon.
Blessings to you. How are you feeling today? Let's start
I'm feeling
there.
amazing, actually. Thank you for asking.
Appreciate that. Anything exciting to celebrate? Anything personal or
Yeah,
exciting?
I think you're gonna get a whole bunch of numbers in here, and you're gonna be like the most popular man on YouTube now, at least in this sector, right? I think the numbers are about to rise. You know what I mean? Magically. So yeah, we'll see it. We'll see it just now.
Well, respect, Cage. Thank you, brother. Things happen, and I was just observing the views of the last couple of streams. While I felt that it's been a real healthy, positive shift in energy, I noticed the numbers kind of dropped
Jack,
down.
look at it. How many people do you have watching now?
They're good numbers today. Looks
What do
like
you got?
one.
Like 100. Last time I looked, it was 136. Like I think it's gonna keep rising out of nowhere, right? Magically. There you go.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. And yes, someone asked about a website. CNA, thank you for the question. And this is something I have to own. I haven't done as much as I could. And the real livewithoutfear.com, there's so much potential, and yet it is not what I hope it to be. And on jacktalcott.com, I used to blog, and I used to write out more detailed of some of these ideas. So it's been a while since I've done much to either. But for those who are interested, and thank you to the mods. Yes. Thank you.
So I like that quote that you put up, right? Like where before we're just saying like the things that you look at change. Like is reality curated to the observer? That's my question of the day. Is it kind of curated to the observer in a way? Or what?
It's a relationship. It's curated. It's a mutual relationship. We are a process of change. There is no individual in any experience. There is the subject and the object being experienced by the subject. So everything is a relationship. But it's such a beautiful story, the dynamic of what we're a part of, the evolution of the past. It is true that through sin and selfishness, and we can talk about my definition of sin, but through sin and selfishness, the world has divided. And through the division, we've created this billionaire class and poverty class and all these class warfares and color warfares, and just, it's a spiritual warfare, really. It's everything in this reality can be broken down. You can break everything down to 50-50. It's either true or a lie.
Yes or
True,
no?
true or false, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how a long time ago, I knew the answers a long time ago, even when I was still living in my head. I'd come to a couple of conclusions. One was from a mushroom trip out in the woods.
Oh, really? That'd be awesome if we sat around a fire and did mushrooms together, Jack. That'd be fucking hilarious.
This was a long ago before my awakening. It might have even been when I was still drinking, but had a mushroom trip in the woods, and I came back with the observation, it'll pass. And so when things started getting tough in my day to day beyond there, I just remind myself, it'll pass. It all passes. The good passes, the bad passes, the pain passes, the pleasure passes. It all passes. Let it pass. Let it go. That was wisdom from a mushroom, man. That's where I'm giving the credit to. No, it's by the grace of God, all things. But the mushroom led me to that. And then the other one I learned a long time ago. Life pretty much is 50-50. You can think you're doing everything right and plan and be just perfect in your execution and things go wrong. Or you can just stumble in and not know what you're doing and somehow things happen to work out right. Life is 50-50, man. You're either right or wrong, but you learn either way.
Yeah, Jack, do you like this quote from the Bible? I think they say something about my tongue is a pen of a ready writer. Right? You know that old quote, like, oh, it's right under your nose? Right? What's right under your nose, literally? Think about it. Yeah.
My tongue is the pen of a mighty writer.
Of a ready writer.
Ever ready writer. It is. We reveal the truth of what's within us through the words that we utter. It's important to pay attention to oneself and everything else that life brings. Hey, CNA, I think I can agree with that observation. I have had a lot of room to improve, to grow, and to be more grounded, more stoic, more genuine in my presence and my peace. That is my goal. And this is
Jack. How many do we have? Sorry for the interruption. How many do you have watching now on your end?
155. Welcome
Really?
to.
Wow.
Yeah. Please, thank you. Welcome to all who are tuning in. And if you're new, please give us a chance. There's some amazing things happening here. The world is not the world we know. And I hope to help the world know. Okay. I hope to help the rest of the world know the world that I know. And the world that I know is filled with love and opportunity and so many incredible things, amazing people. And speaking of, we just got another guest back here. Welcome back, Brother Hank. How are you today, friend?
I'm doing okay. Just the scheduling for my car repair and inspection got bought because there's incompetent schedulers. So I
Well,
pushed it back a week.
were you in the mall or something, Hank?
Yes.
Okay, here. My mother gave me these magnets, you know what I mean? And like, so one of it says, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. And I got another one here. It says, never let your fear decide your future. And I got a next one over here. All right, hold on, let's go that way. An orange one. You must be the change you want to see in the world. And then we got a purple one with orange. It says, I am wise because I learned from my mistakes. And then like we got like triangles. And my mother gave me these like magnets I put on my freezer. Right? Frigid air with a triangle. So
Very cool.
yeah. So every day I have to look at that, right?
Those are good messages to have around you. And I kind of missed some of what you said, Hank. I turned your volume up a bit for us. But you were waiting for something, and I couldn't catch much else.
Yeah. So I tried to schedule my stuff early if I could get my car fixed. But the schedules were incompetent. They couldn't give me an estimate last week when they put everything in because they made up a procedure they made up. So I had to push it back because I could rent a car. So that
Well,
pushed it back.
They're probably going to try taking advantage of you, right? We have YouTube. We have all the information available. So, what's the issue with the car?
I don't have a lift, dumbass. I don't have a lift. I'm not doing it. I have a service contract. They're supposed to be doing it. So I'm not going to do it because I already paid for the service for most of it. So
Okay,
also
well, I'm
need to get in
asking
touch with
what's
that.
the issue with the car? What is it?
I'm not going to troubleshoot and fixing myself. I already paid for most of the fixing. I, you know what? I'll
Well, you're
give
not
you the
answering
list.
the question, Hank.
Yes, here it is. It's a long list. If you have your Discord, I'll send you the whole list, and then we can talk about it. Otherwise, I don't want to discuss it any further.
Okay, well, that's fine then. Like, one time I had like a windshield wiper problem. All right. And what I did was I went to Napa Valley. I bought like a $7 or $8 piece of plastic and I took the car apart and I replaced it. It's called like a bushing. And, like I call people up, like, I don't know how much is in a car. They probably would have like made me like replace, they're going to like do unnecessary work on the car just to extract money from you. So it's like, I'm sure you can not do that. Like, if you know something and you tell them, right, then they're not going to be able to take advantage of you like that. So if you do your own research, yeah, they're not going to be able to like make a problem that doesn't exist. Yeah.
Yes, I know that already. I have a list of repairs from another shop. Um, but if you want to teach me how to replace a windshield wipers, which is something I already know how to do. And
All right, can we do the car repair stuff?
I already asked him. I already told him I didn't want to talk about. He could message me on Discord if you want a detailed list. And give me advice. That part we're not going to use anyway.
Well, Hank, I'm sure you can find me, and I'm always there for you, buddy.
Thank you. Finding peace from a world of the damned, right? Allowing us to be moved by love. And I mentioned earlier, if you consider it, the idea of when we give our power away, we're lowering ourselves and raising what has the power. If we give fear power over us, if we got to run or we're afraid of our fears and we got to avoid those people and things that make us afraid, it's a false god compared to true love, because true love is what created us. And if we focus on true love and becoming aligned with true love requires no conditions. It was demonstrated through the story and teachings of Jesus, the teachings of many others. We are here to bring the peace into the world. The heavenly ideas are available for us all to capture and to tune into. But you don't hear what's happening if you aren't listening, right? Does that make sense? I mean, it's kind of simple and obvious.
It does. It does make sense, Jack. Thank you for that. For these conversations, yeah. So
Thank you, brother. And Cage, you know what? I appreciate you returning, okay? And I appreciate truly your energy. Thank you. Life is pretty good, man.
thank you, sir. You never know what. You never know. So it's about patience and tolerance and just just wait. No, not wait, but I'm saying like it'll come back, guaranteed. I guarantee it. Everyone's gonna get held accountable and get what they deserve. So I'm just diligently waiting. And God has you, the big G upstairs, right? Yeah.
Cage, yes. Oh, you're bringing up something I was totally digging into my mind about, the idea of waiting, because that's what we are. We are waiting at this time for, I don't know what. And the world we live in, it's conditioned people to wait for nothing. And I find myself waiting for nothing sometimes just because I'm absent of ideas.
But we can create something out of nothing. Out of fucking thin air. Magic.
Cage,
Poof. Yeah.
Cage, that's exactly what an idea is. It emerges and manifests from nowhere, no thing, and it comes into being. That's what an idea is. And we are the manifestors of ideas. If we tune into the Most High, the highest mind we can imagine, we can bring those ideas into being with us.
And I don't believe it. I know it. I'll get an echo.
Hey, welcome 007. I think we had an echo when you popped up, so I muted you.
Yeah, it's happening again.
I'll let you take care of it. You're on it. Whenever you're settled, jump in. Okay.
All right.
Welcome back, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Working.
Yes. Kind and loving participants are welcome to join. And let me point out too, I do have an intention of sharing value. And sometimes these panels, they can get crazy and a little hectic, even a downright offensive sometimes. But if anyone tunes in and you see value, you feel something, you've got something weighing on you, and you want to have a serious conversation, don't be afraid to click the link and just give me a heads up. Say, Jack, I want your attention. You've got it. I'll throw everyone else in the back and we'll deal with the new opportunity. At least feel it out, right? I think that seems fair.
Testing.
Sounds beautiful, brother.
Yeah, we can hear you, Double.
Can you hear me? Right, because I can't hear. I can't hear it in my.
Well, I can hear you, man. It's me.
Okay. No, it's cool. All right. Yeah. So, how's everyone doing? How's it going, Hank?
Business as usual.
What is that? It's an interesting avatar pic you got there. What is that burning?
Oh, that's I make like a bonfire at Earl Bill's Park. It's in a place in Toronto. And yeah, I've seen this actually come out of the flames, like the phoenix, like multiple times, right? Like here, I'll show you the next one. See, that's another one.
Oh, that is sick.
Yeah.
Do you know who Jason Brashears is? Do you know Jason Brashears? I bet he'd fucking love to see that.
He may have lost his connection. I know who you're talking about. And the imagery of the phoenix. In some way, I feel that's what I am. I feel that's what we are. We're here to rise from the ashes of the past. We're watching the destruction of the old world. It's happening on the mainstream media. The revolution isn't being televised as much as the tyranny, but it's happening.
I've heard it suggested that the LA riots are and what it's grown into a nationwide thing is just a psyop to get Palantir involved. Get everybody in a database, get everybody ID.
Yep. Beautiful. Yes, these guys, there is organized chaos being executed throughout not just America, but the whole world. And what that point you brought up, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Palantir is he's a big part. That is a big part of this story.
Yeah, so I got a phone call, but yeah, I'm back now.
007 was asking if you knew someone.
I know plenty of. Who do you want to hear from?
It was regarding to the Phoenix, I think. Go ahead, 007.
Jason Brashears, Archaics, his channel. He's
no, I've heard of the guy. I've never watched his content or interacted with him, so I can't speak on that.
His big thing is the Phoenix event.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's interesting.
Because like in 1902, the American seal was changed, wasn't it? And they changed it had a phoenix on it, and then 1902 they changed it to an eagle. And 1902 is the last time that the Phoenix event was supposed to have taken place.
Well, I've learned something new then. I haven't heard about that. Thank you for sharing that. No, for me, I have a personal relationship with it, where it's an element, and the element of fire. And there's something called Lag Omer or something like that. It's like the 33rd day of something on the Jewish calendar. And yeah, like I was at this park over here, a ravine thing, where yeah, I've seen people like doing this stuff, and yeah, apparently that's what it is. You can look it up on Wikipedia, and they like the whole point is bringing the phoenix out the flame, and yeah, it can present yours. I think they call it like a salamander, right? Um, yeah. I don't know. We can get into it, but it's probably not the time for it. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me jump into this. I'm not sure exactly where the question is going, but it's an interesting question. If assuming God knows everything, which is my mind, I'm confident. Yeah, if God knows everything, and all this is part of the plan, why all the complaining? That's a
I think it's
question.
due to a lack of patience.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And think about this though. Where does a lack of patience come from?
I can answer that question too. It comes from wanting it now. Um, like like people want to be spoon-fed certain information, right? They don't want to put the time or work or effort into it. They just want to be given it instead of actually like earning it. Right?
Yes, where I was going with that, it's the ego. The identity of self, the thought beliefs of the identity of self. It's only the identity that has the ideas of possession or fear, because the true spirit doesn't possess anything. It unites with everything. It's a beautiful relationship we have here, but the mind separates each of us from each other. The mind separates us from the heavenly ideas when we have a wounded heart. And there's a lot of people in this world with wounded hearts.
It's encouraged by society as well. It's not. We're not educated to understand that everything is connected. Everybody is connected. That we're not given an understanding of God because they're basically the scientific community.
It's a small world, right? Sorry for the interruption. That's what I have to work on and be better, not interrupting. But yeah, it's like the 6 degrees of separation, right? And it's a very small world. It's hilarious because I guarantee I could link up with a few different people and everybody's somehow connected. Guaranteed. The 6 degrees of separation, they call it.
Yes. And especially with the internet now.
Yes.
With the social media connections and the internet connections that we're making. Yeah.
Hey, I want to jump in with what you were saying. You said we're not trained or taught to understand the unity and the connection of each other. And it's so simple, it's obvious, right? It happens in the schools and with the religions. The schools divide us. They teach us to obey and memorize, right? Because you got to remember in order to obey. So we condition our memories, the society does, and then we become the identity of a good child, a good citizen, a good employee, whatever. We live in a realm where it's literally we get to make believe whatever we want, and what we believe we end up making to be true.
And we're given false perceptions.
Yes.
False perceptions. This is what I was talking about earlier on my channel about how perception, each one of us, like it or not, each one of us is having a completely subjective, unique experience. It might be an objective reality that we're existing in, but we're all having a subjective experience within it. So my experience of God is a personal, subjective one. And it doesn't have to be dictated to me by men reading from books 2,000 years old what that relationship should be, or how I should how I should communicate with God. Because one thing that at least Christianity teaches is that your connection to God is direct. It's a direct, personal,
Yeah. You don't need
subjective,
an intermediary. Yeah.
right? And so, I mean, I've had my experiences. I emailed you, Jack. I don't know if it went into your spam or you haven't seen it, but I emailed you, Jack Talcott at Gmail. So I don't know if that was the right email.
And 007, I want to give you some flowers in that you're in a. I've never went and talked to you before, but I have been observing, and you're an amazing artist, man. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, so keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
Hey.
one of my gifts from our creator, man. That's that's one of the things that I was endowed with. I didn't ask for it. It's just something that I'm able to do. So
It's a skill that you were given, right? So,
say again.
it's a skill that you were given that you can utilize, right?
A talent that I was given that I honed into a skill. Yeah, definitely. But it's music. Music's in my family. My grandparents or my great grandparents were professional musicians, and
I can tell. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Hey, I apologize. I don't know your talents or you. And if I missed an email from you, I'm sorry, but it's not at Gmail. So
It's at jacktalcott.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has his own email address. Yeah.
Right. So I emailed Jack Talcott at gmail.com. So
Isn't it? I think it's like Jack at jacktalcott.com. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Jack at Jack Talcott. All right. I'll go in and I'll resend it.
Please, and thank you. Yes, I appreciate it. It's also in the info on the channel too. I think I'm pretty sure
yeah.
I can set up to share
it. It was kept like it says identify that you're a human. Identify all the bicycles in this thing, and it just kept refreshing. It didn't once.
Oh man,
human. And I'm like, right, okay,
I get it.
Or is giving you a recapture?
Yeah,
sounds like it.
Giving it.
But there's something I've been learning how to trust, especially when it comes to technology. When it's time, it'll be time, right? When it's time to go through, when it's time to connect, it will happen. But giving ourselves permission to be at peace, waiting for things to happen, waiting for things to line up, that takes some practice.
What's that? Patience is a virtue, and it depends if you believe in divine timing or not. I think divine timing is real, but it's not what we think it is. It's not because we have free will, right? We all have free will. We can all, most of us, not most of us, but a lot of people, a lot of the public who are just glued to their TVs, glued to the mainstream media, all the mainstream news and everything, they aren't able to utilize their free will quite so much. They're reactionary. They don't think before they act. They just react, and that's why we've got all these groups kicking off with each other. Nobody's thinking critically about what's going on, and until you can think critically, you can't have free will.
Exactly. That is very, very deep and precise. The two go together. We must critically want to know, like it's critical we know. We must care to know, and then think critically.
Right.
Figure out what is true.
And it's which it means exploring all the available options. You have to look at everything, look at the entire field to see what's in it. You don't just, you know,
Yes.
that's
At the
why
same
it
token,
annoyed me. It annoyed, like in the end, when I realized what religion has done, keeping people away from certain esoteric knowledge, because they demonized the people that wrote it. The people that followed those people, like Helena Blavatsky, she was followed by people who put her teachings into, you know, they didn't.
well, it's a theosophy, right? I actually, sorry for the interruption, but I actually just made a podcast. It's podcast number 9. Actually, it's just about H.P. Blavatsky and her book, The Secret Doctrine. All right.
Mm,
The theosophy, where does that come from? Theo meaning God, and then Sophia meaning wisdom. And
mm.
some very interesting studies and stuff. If you, but how dare you fucking go and look into in their mind? It's like, okay, I'm allowed to own a firearm apparently, but nobody else is allowed to, so they can take advantage of people. Even though
Mm.
all this information is out there,
Yes.
you know,
Please.
all the information is available, right?
Yeah.
So
Let's.
it's up to us to go and dig in and learn and
I,
utilize it.
I mean,
And
I
I
kind
think.
of understand. I understand why secret clubs and whatever the knowledge was hidden, um,
Mhm.
and it was hidden. I think originally it was hidden, or it wasn't hidden. It was just it was esoteric. It was you had to look for it to find it, but it you because a little bit of knowledge is dangerous, man, and
Exactly.
some of this knowledge, we are powerful. We're very, very powerful beings capable of creating, manifesting shit,
Yes.
through our just through our emotions and our actions and our we can make things manifest
Yes.
like
So
in a supernatural way sometimes.
that's
Um,
exact. Sorry to keep cutting in here.
no, you're
Um,
right. You're right, man.
that's exactly what I've been learning, 007, and I've been wanting to know what what I don't know what you do or don't know about me, or what you think about what it is that I've been trying to accomplish. But I truly believe we are here to change this entire world, to set the truth free, so that it's no longer limited sharing for the wealthy or for the inside group. And I think that's where the advancement of civilization and our education, I think it just logically brings us to these points.
I the one of the hardest things for me to accept was the reality that the only thing that I can change is myself.
Okay. But what are you?
Say again.
What are you?
What am I? I mean, I'm a co-creator within my reality. I'm
Amen.
sharing. I'm sharing this space with other people who I can't. It's not for me to say when somebody is to wake up. It's not for me to say that somebody should change their perceptions or their beliefs. But I still want to. All I want is for people to perceive things accurately. That's all I
Me
want.
too. Me too. We're on the same team. We're on the same page. There's probably a greater reason our paths have crossed.
A page with a cage with a stage with a sage.
I trust in that.
Yeah.
The stage is set. We are the actors of today. What roles are we playing in our own lives and each other? And 007, I agree. This was a lesson I had to learn, I guess maybe the hard way. You can't force anyone to change. You can't yell someone into understanding you. You've got to be, well, I've been blessed to discover a lot of methods and good practices for healthy communication, remembering to apply them. That's where I got a lot of room for improvement. But brother, the point is, communication is key. You clearly have a gift. and many others that others know about and I don't yet. But I'm glad you're here, and I trust there's a reason. Go ahead, man.
So, because you said you don't know how well I know you or where I know you from. Obviously, I just know you from flows, from going over to flow states and seeing. And so initially, all I saw was the little clip videos that he was putting out. And that formed an opinion that I realized when I actually got on a panel with you and I listened to what you were saying, that it was it was a bit unfair. I was being, I didn't know you. So what you say, the things that you say are all very, basically the same sort of stuff that I've been saying for the last 8 years
I
on
believe
YouTube.
it.
And I think that you're sincere, and it's a genuine quest that you're on. I think I've found just when you're talking about God and stuff, right? I just a couple of times got the impression or got the feeling that you were trying too hard. It was you were trying to be accepted by a community or something, and you were just trying really hard. But the thing is, the first thing I got to recognize is that I did exactly the same thing. I'm no different. So,
Bless you, brother.
I think
Bless you.
we've all got to just drop all this bullshit with each other and recognize that it doesn't matter, man, what our differences might be or whatever. It's all bullshit, because it's all based in false beliefs and false programming and indoctrination. They did a study in America. This guy just happened to be of a little hat variety that funded it, and they did a study with groups, with two gangs. They made two groups of boys, all around the same age, like 12 years old, and the two groups didn't know about each other, but they were put out and they were said, right, you're going to go out and you're going to survive in the woods. And for the first week or whatever, they didn't know about each other. And in that first week, they created they had their group name, they had their flag, and they had their mascot or logo or whatever it was, right? And then once they'd established all of that off their own backs, they did that themselves. They weren't encouraged to do it, I don't think. But once they'd done that, then they were told about each other. Then they were told that the other group exists, and now you're competing for resources. So they set the two groups against each other. And the long story short is that at the end of this, however long it was, I don't know how long the study was, but what they determined was that there was a certain percentage of people that once they've been put in a group and told that the other group's the enemy, there's nothing you can do that will ever change their perception of that other group. That other group will always be the enemy.
I remember hearing about that study, but here's what I've come to know, right? It comes back to the biblical stuff and the words of Jesus. Love your enemy. Now, think about what an enemy is. It's someone who would oppose us and we oppose them. And so that really means it's oppositional beliefs, because we don't oppose each other. We're here co-creating life with the good and the bad, right? The joy and the pain. We're creating life together. So I've been putting it to practice, and I've chosen. You can choose. I have no enemies. My only enemy is my own self-destruction.
Keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
Sun Tzu said, "Yeah, you know thy enemy." And I
Yeah.
said earlier today, I think he was talking about actually the true enemy is the one within. Is that the
Yep.
true
He
enemy
knew
is
that.
always the one within. The true
Yeah.
enemy in the American administration is within. The true enemy within the British administration is within. And the
Yes.
Yeah,
true enemy within each one of us.
nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished.
Right, and like you were saying, Jack, it's the ego that actually wants to take control of everything, needs to take control of everything, needs to identify everything, needs to label things for recognition, just recognize everything and put it all in a box. So and
Yep.
put it all together in the appropriate boxes so that we know what what it all is. But that is the ego, and that's why this world it's in the state that it is in now, because all they've ever focused on our entire lives has been material shit, and it's all about intelligence, is all about logic, and the male hemisphere of the brain. Forget the female hemisphere. It's all about the male hemisphere.
Mhm.
And if you've got a high IQ, you're extremely intelligent. But the last 5 years has proven that high IQ does not equal high intelligence.
Amen.
So that obviously means that we're missing an aspect of intelligence, which I say is the female side, the emotional side. If you're going to be, if you're a true genius, is emotionally intelligent as well as logically, intellectually intelligent, and able to use what's it called? Facts, logic, and reason. All about facts, logic, and reason. We've been made to focus on this aspect, completely ignore this aspect, because if people were aware of this side of the shit, they'd be more balanced individuals. They'd be harder to set against each other because they'd be able to reason. That's how they've dumbed everybody down.
Yes. Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
Part of what has dumbed our species down. I'm sorry, actually, Cage. If you were waiting to get in, let me.
No, I'm just listening, Jack. Thank you.
All right, thank you, brother.
I'll tell you what, you don't look anything like your voice. Put a picture in my mind.
I look a bit different.
I know,
but
huh?
You never know, right?
You
never
just
know
look
who's on
younger.
listening.
You just look a lot younger. I thought you were like in your 50s.
No. I'm a young man, bro. I was born in 1993.
But you've got timber in your voice, like gravel. Well,
I had to be a man since 8 years old, my friend. Yeah.
He's one of those who grew up young, and he's learning to be more gentle and kind, just like me. I grew up young as well, and it takes some practice to learn how to be gentle and kind, just like it took us some practice to learn how to be tough when shit went down, right? It all comes through time and practice. I want to swing back to what you were saying about dumbing society down, lacking the understanding. It comes from trauma. Unresolved trauma and pain creates the overreactive mind, and that lacks clarity.
It creates the self-protective.
Yep.
It took me a long time, but after a long time, I've finally learned how to switch off emotionally. And I call it's my sociopathic switch, because it turns me into a sociopath, not in a bad way, but in the sense that I just disconnect completely from my emotions. And just,
I'd like to add to that, because if you're doing like inner alchemy, right, like mental transmutation, in a way you do have to do that, because what is emotion? Is energy and motion, right? So you have to kind of leave that at the back door, kind of thing, and transmute it in a certain way. All right. So it's like at that point you're almost like not a sociopath, but like you're understanding the reaction from the action, and you're disconnecting from that and then changing it for a specific
Right.
goal or a
That's
mental
it.
change.
Disconnecting.
Yes. Sorry. Let me
That's what I mean.
jump here.
I know what it's like wanting to put, you want to play your little clip videos and it's like, when do I do it? When do I do it? I would
Well,
interrupt the conversation. I'm exactly the same. I never end up playing them in the end.
well, and it's also for the conversation, because these ideas of oh crap, and I'm sorry. I interrupted and I lost track of where the conversation was, but
We're talking about inner alchemy and mental
thank you.
transmutation. Yeah.
Cage, the way you brought that up was beautiful. It was different in my mind. It was different than what I was originally thinking, because originally I was thinking we need to feel. While I get what you're saying, there's a strength in that deadening, detaching yourself from the reality you're experiencing so that you can rise above it. But
you observe it.
yes,
It's like you can't stop feeling it, but you
right.
observe it. You go into a yeah. You're just looking and saying, "Well, this is making me really angry."
And
So
what Cage was saying is a wonderful idea. Keep in mind, we are magical. We can alchemize that unpleasant energy into productive energy, right? Use your anger, recognize that you're angry, find yourself a healthy purpose, and redirect your energy into exercising, painting, creating, doing something that's healthy. And that, I used to call it experiential alchemy. You take the unpleasant and then you build off that and move towards the gold, towards the real gems.
From lead to gold.
Yeah, that's what moving from anger to hope is. Moving from the burden of anger, you're dark and weighed down, into this freedom.
I have something interesting to bring up about that. Apparently, at CERN with their hadron colliders and all that, apparently they found out how to literally make lead into gold through scientific studies and all
yeah,
that. So,
yeah.
which is,
But it
I heard
takes so
about
much
that the other
money.
day.
It costs so much to do it that it's not cost effective. The amount of material that they have to use and the amount of energy that they have to use to be able to do it, it's just not cost effective at all, is it? I think
Probably not.
It was either the same or a similar documentary about that.
Yeah,
With the
I got a question, Jack. Why is your numbers not matching up with what's going on?
Because I
know
boosted the
that
numbers.
when you buy subs or buy views, you have over 200
Oh,
people
fine.
supposedly watching this, but you only have 10 people active in your chat, if
Hey,
that. So I know you.
Thank you for raising your concerns about what it is you see. I appreciate you raising that, and you can tell whatever story about me that you want, Snafu. What I'm focused on is trying to share some value with our time together. Okay? So, where were we?
transmuting negative energy.
Transmuting. Yes.
Negative energy, and when you receive negative energy, not reacting to it, basically
Yes.
observing how it makes you feel, and then transmuting that energy into something else. Even if it's like with me, a lot of the time I get angry, and then I realize like this person's made me angry, but like the reason that they're a dick, I've got no idea why it is that other person has been an absolute dick, but something's obviously happened. Something's happened in their life.
And that's energy is energy, right? That's a potential, right?
And
There's an actual potential, kind of like how the neurons fire in your brain. So that's the potential to be utilized either way, be it positive or negative.
right.
So,
Let's take this moment for what it is, because you guys are right. It's all about energy, and Snafu has actually been improving. He and I have had some bad energy in the past between us. But what are your thoughts? I will offer this to, I'm reasonable, please, because it would mean sharing time with you as well. And I don't want to disrespect either of you. I feel we've been having some great conversations before Snafu arrived.
What was the question?
Should I practice trying to transmute energy, and should we see if Snafu is willing to cooperate with healthy conversations?
So I've just got to be honest. Only because of what I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
and what I've experienced personally myself, I would say that Snafu's not in a place where he's ready to do that. He's still he's in a place where he is so fired up. Whatever it is that's fired him up, he's ready to pop. He's got his sights out and he's looking for targets. He's not looking to expand his mind or or change. He doesn't want to change at all. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with himself. So he's
Well,
I don't think it would be a productive conversation.
Hey, 007.
That's just a personal judgment.
And I respect that. I do. I have had a different experience, and I've talked to Snafu offline as well. I know that healthy conversations can be had, but Snafu, please, with respect, let it not be right now. Okay, you and I can connect again later, and we'll talk again, and you will be a welcomed guest again in the future.
If he's got constructive contribution to the conversation that we're having, if he's not just coming in here to try and accuse you of buying stocks and whatever.
Fair enough.
Hey. I find it funny that this guy's going to speak for me. And it's a very valid question, Jack, because, again, the question is, I'm not even accusing you, is you claim, and it could be someone who bought subs for you, not even you doing it. The fact that you have over 200-something viewers, but have maybe 10 active people in your chat. No, people buy subs and viewers all the time. And Mr. 007 acting like he's 00 fucktard. Like, for real. I bring value, period, you dumb fuck.
Self-censor.
No, look at this redhead looking Mohawken fucking.
See, you're about as predictable as the fucking sun. You know that?
He's got these habits of thoughts, and he allows the thought habits to consume him. Now,
anybody that uses profanity to the extent that he does is lacking in IQ. They don't have the vocabulary that they need to be able to engage in a decent conversation without without resorting to hyperbole to fucking, I was going to say hyperbole, not hyperbole.
Ad
homs.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And what I suggest is it's not necessarily a low IQ, it's a low EQ. And emotional intelligence, right?
Yeah.
And a lower emotional intelligence is typically the result of unresolved past trauma.
Absolutely.
And that comes back to our society. It's created stupidity. And Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, the Sacklers, the Kochs, all these names who are behind the scenes, right? Pulling the strings of the puppets. Donald Trump and others are the puppets. The world is nuts, man. Hey,
good old Donald would never admit that to himself. He won't even admit it to himself. But yeah, at the end of the day, they're all. We don't know the names of the people pulling the strings. That's the reality. We don't know their names. Their names that are kept out of the ledgers. They're kept out of the books. They're not. Their wealth is not recorded. Everybody's walking around thinking that Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. I think it's hilarious.
Hey, we've got another energetic being, and one who I'm hopeful that we can have good conversations with, and I'm hoping to catch up with. So,
Yeah,
welcome.
shaken, not stirred, Jack. How about you call it, Jack? How about you pick 007 or Snafu Snaps or your own ass and give me a back and forth, and I'm going to wreck any single one of you. Yes.
You don't have to, though.
But I do. But I do, because 007 is just a faggot blow washer of flow state. You have cuffed up with Snafu Snaps, and I'll wreck you and Snafu Snaps on that subject. What do you want to do, Jack? What do you want to do?
Please, let's start with pause. That's what I want to do. Can we pause
Let's
here?
start with play and a little bit of fast forward, because I'm sick of waiting on you to catch up.
Oh God, fucking hell.
Well, if we pause,
Alexander the Great looked at every battlefield he stepped on. He said, "We need speed." And you think you're going to end those wars, Jack? You think you're going to get in between Alexander the Great and Achilles and Rumsfeld?
Tommy, did you ever hear of the interaction between Alexander the Great and Diogenes, the philosopher?
Yeah, it was the Greek times. They did the Olympics nude. I'm sure they sucked each other off like you and dreaming about Paul the Unslaved. Now, which one of these guys do you want wrecked? And you're included. Just give me the back and forth. Just give me the back and forth.
As I said, the only thing I want is for us to pause so that we can get on the same timeline. You've been waiting for me to catch up. I've been waiting for you to
I haven't been waiting for you. I don't wait for you. I'll leave you in the dust because you're still a joke. And whenever you don't have opposition, your show sucks.
Sometimes I won't deny that.
You know that Dub has been doing what I was trying to do. Dub is too oblivious to this community to get mad and rage out. He's been wrecking you, and you don't. I think you know it.
Let's pause together, please.
How can you cite the Bible? How can you cite the Bible at people like you don't have the Holy Spirit? No. How can you cite the Bible and then deny what's cited back at you? You got to take the book or none of the book.
I have no battle with you.
You do. You have a battle with God, and God hates his enemies.
I'm not an enemy to God.
He doesn't like you dropping his son's name just for clout and then not speaking his son's word. That's a very God enemy thing to do, Jack.
But is that God or is that you who's getting angry?
It's God, Jack. It's God, because like I said, you cite that book, and that book is the last word of God we get. You can't deny it, or you deny it.
Okay, so remind me why you're such an expert on the book.
I don't claim to be an expert. That's what you say whenever I dwarf you and all these people that want to come on and say the random thing they heard a YouTube say or without actually knowing for themselves. Because I spent over 22 years going to church 3 times a week. And it was hell, Jack. I missed The Simpsons. I missed Captain Power. I missed all kinds of things. But now I see it. Now I get it. Now I'm always smiling, Jack. Because I wreck Antichrist like you, and all you can do is mod God.
Can we please pause together just for a moment?
Come on, man. I'm like 3 laps ahead, Jack. You're not going to gain any bot. You won't even gain purchased followers at this rate.
For the purpose of praising God. Okay?
Why is Snafu coming up to you?
He's not.
I think he is. And then why is everybody giving me shit for resolutions with Snafu? Because he called me a pedo for 2 years, but he called you a rapist for 3 years, and now you're allowed to cuck up with him?
I'm getting flack for it too, Tommy. So don't
No,
think
you're
we're
not.
that.
No, you're not, Jack. You are. You wish you could get. You wish you could get a real read on this community and where you stand in it. These people are deceiving you, Jack. They're deceiving you. Every single one of them.
Tell you what, my friend. You're not actually.
I'm not sure.
I know.
Jack, if you don't love money, if you don't love money, why was $3 enough to keep OTW doxxed? Because you love money.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Holy cows. 007, thank you for your patience, my brother. This is the world we live in. Tommy's a good guy. He's just got that mind that's convinced.
I beg to differ.
Please. Not to gossip, but please.
That's why I said I'd love to meet him in real life.
I agree.
Not this persona that he's putting on
Yeah.
online. I want to see him
You know
face
what?
to face.
I would too.
He's a big tough guy with his gun and fucking all that shit. And, like,
Well,
come on, like I'd just like to see him face to face and see, I'll be able to see the man behind the mask a lot easier face to face.
hey, he's shown me enough. I've seen the man in him, and that's why I care about Tommy and I care about Snafu.
I think I think they're just traumatized. I think they've lived a life that has, for one reason or another, ended up putting them into situations that no one should be in. Absolutely, no one should be in. I've had an eventful life. Right? I've nearly died 4 times. First time I was 19, and I was 23. Then I was 33. Oh no, first time I was 10. Sorry, it was 10, 19, 23, and 33. And every time the emergency services and everyone said it's a fucking miracle he's alive. Absolute, like, don't understand how he's not either brain damaged or just dead. And I've lost my train of thought. Totally lost it. It's because I'm fucking talking about myself.
Well, you brought up the past deaths, near deaths, for a reason.
Trauma, right?
Trauma
and bullying, being bullied. I was bullied. I went to private school when I was 5 because I did an exam. They asked me to do this test. I did this test. They whipped me out of the school that I was in, and they put me into this private preparatory school and set me off to go and be a fucking barrister or something. It didn't work, but anyway, I was bullied. Like, bullied senseless at that school, and I hated it. And I never once stood up for myself because I was the youngest in my year, and everybody that was bullying me was older than me. But then when I moved schools, my parents had to take me out of that school because I just was not fitting in. So they took me out of that school, put me into a normal school, and the first thing that started happening was somebody started bullying me because of the way I spoke. Because obviously, because I went to private school, I was actually taught to speak like a proper Englishman, the way that my mother wished for me to speak. And she didn't want me to sound like I worked on a building site. She wanted me to sound as if I worked in London and I was a barrister working for the Queen or something, you know. So I got I got bullied for that. And I just thought, do you know what? Fuck this. I was bullied at the last school where I was the youngest, and now I'm one of the oldest. So no, fuck you. And I beat the shit out of the guy that bullied me. And then in the next school that I went to, I beat the shit out of everybody that tried to bully me there. There was one guy that I couldn't, he terrified me, man. My knees went fucking weak. I just wasn't able to stand up to him. But we actually ended up being friends anyway. And I took it to heart when I was taught, when I heard the stories of, if you should stand up to your bullies, always stand up to your bullies. And if you see someone being bullied, stand up for that person being bullied. I think
007, sorry. Go ahead if you're finishing something.
I was just trying to tie it into Snafu and Illumitomi. Like, they just strike me as people that are lashing out now because they felt powerless for so long.
Yep. And I can relate your story, brother. I can imagine, and I, in my own way, differently kind of relate. Getting bullied a lot. And it's funny, you mentioned you were the youngest, as was I. I was young in my class, and I was taught to respect elders. And so there was this automatic, even though it was small, it was a contradiction within me. And getting picked on and bullied, what I found is kind of what you said. I ended up confronting a lot of bullies in my life. And my big mouth ended up, I had to learn how to fight. And what I realized is in my victim mentality, after being bullied and starting to get these low self-worth ideas of myself, I had to prove my strength. So that's why I ended up getting in all these fights until I showed that I was strong, and I don't have to fight, right? I don't have to fight to show my strength anymore. I know who the fuck I am.
When we're younger, though, it is it's a thing, isn't it? I guess I don't believe that we evolved from animals, but there is a certain animalistic nature to the ego. It's, to the vessel,
Yes.
the physical aspect of being in this realm.
Yes. And we are here to explore what it means to be a human. Some people are they're taking this opportunity and they're exploring the dark sides of life. I explored the dark sides of myself. I spent much of my life just wrapped in anger and resentment. That's what moved me and fueled me. It wasn't love. It wasn't passion. Sure as hell wasn't hope. I hoped to die, but I didn't. And so then I finally found the strength to choose to live a different way. But living a different way than what you know, that can be scary to the mind, but fear has no power.
Did you find that one of the first things that you have, or certainly one of the first things I had to do, was take control of my mind? So police my thoughts, because of intrusive thoughts. So my life was ruled for 15, 16 years. I was ruled by intrusive thoughts because of so in 2000 I had a car accident. My girlfriend died, and I was absolutely riddled with guilt. And I had God, I've talked about this so many times, man. I've changed my perception of demons. They're cheeky monkeys, right? They're not manifest in this realm. They're spirit. They're only spirit. I'm manifest. I'm physical, and I'm spirit as well. So that gives me authority over them. And because they're not manifest, then they're not of any form. They're only of the form that I give them. So if I call them demon, they'll be a demon. If I say, no, you're not a demon, you're a cheeky monkey. You're not a threat to me. You're a challenge. You make me think. You keep me on top. But it's only because I'm aware of it. So many people aren't aware of it. They think every thought that's going through their head is their own.
Yes. So sorry to interrupt, but to swing us back, your awareness is amazing. You've been blessed, and I've been blessed to become aware of what's within us. And a lot of people haven't come to that conclusion yet, but it's happening. And you said something earlier, we can't force anyone. And even if it's in their best interest, and you can see, right, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make a person think. But we can influence. And that's the key.
Right, lead by example. That's
to recognize.
That's the key, is lead by example. So that's why if all we can change is ourselves, then if we can make ourselves the best version of ourselves that we can be, and live life in a perceptually accurate way, where we're able to actually manifest things into our own lives, because we have an understanding of how this realm actually works, how things happen, where energy where attention goes, energy flows, all of that. If we no, oh man, do you know what? It's because it's late. It's midnight.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, is it midnight or 11 o'clock? I haven't got my glasses on.
It's
past late. My bedtime. I normally go to bed about 9:30, 10 o'clock, man.
Hey, bless you. It's no worries. I'll start wrapping up soon anyway. And I've enjoyed these conversations. Someone dropped it earlier, but my email, please follow up.
Yeah,
we'll
Jack
please.
Talcott.com.
Yes.
Yeah. So because basically the email was just an invitation to come over onto my channel and we'll have a chat, or have a chat in private. beforehand.
Let's do it. Let's talk about doing something, right? Yeah, we'll connect. Because what you said too, I wanted to swing back to what you were saying about putting power and intention into our thoughts, having clear purpose. I've been dreaming of this. Whoops. Why is that not coming up now? What am I doing wrong?
It's come up in the background now.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring it out. There we go. That's what I was trying to show. The idea, he's alive just like we're alive. He's another human being of form, manifested into form. He's spirit and form. He's operating at the level of awareness that he's been gifted with and blessed with.
Well, he's educated with as well, because they, like we said, with all of these leaders and all of these, these people. I think it's more because of the circles that he moved in, because of the money that he had. That he knows what's going on. It's like the whole situation about being a citizen, or being a sovereign, or being a citizen, right? All politicians are individually sovereign in legal terms. Their names, that they're just registered as corporate entities, but the actual man, the man that's there, that stood there, Donald Trump, the man, doesn't play the same game on a legal status. Not just because he's the president, he wasn't playing the same game before he was the president, because he understands the game.
Right. I understand the game as well. And I'd like to help him understand how we can change the rules of this nation and the world. Because truly, peace is here on this earth. We've got everything we need to create heaven on earth. The answers are here. The only thing we've got to do is work towards encouraging each other, so that with encouragement and support together, connecting together with love, we will easily find the willingness to step out of our comfort zones, start stepping into greater things, each of us. We can all grow individually in supporting each other.
Right. And so stepping out of your comfort zone would be so much easier for people if they knew that if they step out of their comfort zone and something goes wrong, and they stumble or they fall, that there'll be people there that will help and pick them up, because we'll be helping each other. We got a bit of an echo coming back there, Frank.
Welcome back, Frank. I just muted you up because there was an echo coming through. And it's still. Hopefully that. I think that's better. I think that did it. Thank you, brother. Welcome. Welcome, Frank.
I keep changing my setting because I'm a dumbass.
I didn't catch that. I don't know if I need to turn my earphones up, maybe.
No, I said I'm a dumbass, so don't worry.
Sorry, you were saying something and I lost track of where we were again.
I was talking about how politicians and people in positions, the elites, all of that, they all know how to play the game. They've all got all their money tied up in trusts.
Yes.
They own their name. They own their own names. That's still a sovereign entity. Their legal fiction is separate from their physical.
So I'm sorry to interrupt, but yes, these are the things that I actually really want to talk with Donald Trump and the other members of Congress about, because there's enough of us alive today who know this fictional game is really bringing a lot of human suffering into the world. And I like to, before I start condemning people, I really like to make sure, see what they know. And so that's why I want to have a face-to-face, man-to-man, man-to-group of men and women. I want to have some conversations. I want to test the is equality real in America or is it not? Because if equality is real in America, well, then me as a disabled veteran, a man who spent 2 decades serving the public with the United States Postal Service, 28 and a half year federal employee, I think my time and service might be worth something compared to Donald Trump's, 6 years, 5 years of public service. I'd love to have a conversation with him about what it means to be a sworn public servant.
The thing is, so what we're dealing with is corporate entities.
Yeah.
Nations don't exist anymore. In reality, they don't exist anymore. Corporate entities exist. These corporations exist. The United States Corporation, the United Kingdom, all these other countries, they're corporations. Donald Trump is a businessman.
Yeah.
Got to give that to him. The art of the deal and all of that, he does seem to know what he's doing as far as business is concerned. And running the US as a business, is probably the best one for the job. But is that how it should be run? Is that how every country should be run? As if they're just a fucking corporation? Because they're not. That's the thing.
Hey, 007. I'm sorry. I got to jump in on this, and then I want to welcome. Let me be frank with you and David Wayne. Welcome to you both back.
How's it going?
Oh, here, what you just said, the corporations. This is why I believe, there's a lot of room for doubt with me still, but I believe the signs show it's possible my life has been created for this. I experienced a number of years as a local union leader, yelling at bosses was part of my professional role. So why not? I already know the government that I served as a kid has been sold out to the highest bidder. And so I want to speak to the bosses in charge of the Corporation of America. It's time for workers to have equality and rights in their job performance, whether it's McDonald's or anywhere. Right?
I think.
How would you do it better than Jack? Oh, Jack, sorry. How would you run it better? Let's start off small. How would you run the company better?
Honesty, full disclosure, stop the illusions of superiority and inferiority, have honest personal development conversations, developing the workforce into healthy human beings. And then we share the rewards and the responsibilities of the productivity and efficiency together equally.
But does that work for economy though?
What's that?
Does that work for economy?
Fairness?
Fairness will move your mic a little bit closer or angle it a little bit more towards you or something, dude, because it's muffled. Where it's quite
Does that work for economy?
That's better.
It is better, and thank you, Frank. Yes, I believe fairness will work on the greater economy.
I think that what every country needs to do is decentralize their government. The only way that we are gonna, anyway, it's gonna work.
Decentralize. Help me out with that. Decentralize.
Decentralizing the government, basically, giving government of towns and what you call it, but in the UK, Berkshire and Hampshire and Suffolk, these are the regions of the UK that could do their own governance. You have more of a like a council that sits, so a member from each district, whatever, they have council meetings to help coordinate right? But the laws and the governance of those regions are much more centralized in the regions rather than centralized in some fucking, like Washington DC.
It's already that way. We've got local governments where representatives from each of the city districts will get together as a council and form the local laws, and then we've got that scenario at the state and allegedly at the federal level.
Right.
The problem,
the Fed needs to be reduced, doesn't it? The Fed's involvement with what's going on.
How about we get control of the Fed, and then we don't have to worry about the Fed being out of control. And that's where I see the solution. It's out of control because the masses have given their power and authority away. And it makes sense because we give our power, we give the running of the community and the running of the nation over to other people. We're focused on our day-to-day. We got to care for our families, our mothers, our fathers. We've all got lives, right? So we have to rely on each other. And I see incredible opportunities from the foundation of America, from what it was built upon. And like I said, I went and did the touristy thing last week at the Capitol building, and seeing the history and being reminded of some of the real meanings of this experiment. America was the great experiment of the time. Can the people create a way where they don't have to have kings and queens and rulers? Are they capable of self-governance? It's still yet to be determined.
Well, that whole thing was
hijacked. Is that what history tells us, though, Jack, that you guys don't believe in hierarchy?
Don't believe in what?
That you guys don't believe in hierarchy? I mean, is that the history of the United States? Because I'm pretty sure that you still use a justice system that is based on hierarchy.
It was to get away. It was to go from the papacy. Really, the main reason was to go away from the papacy, to have religious freedom from Rome, wasn't it? It was it was what were they called? The Puritans. The Puritans going over to get away from Catholicism, right? But Catholicism crept back in, along with Freemasonry and.
Ooh, I would calm down on that one, because that one kind of nicked its way in the forefathers. But it is what it is. I mean, then again, if we're going to talk about that, then we're also going to talk about the LA riots that are going on right now. And in technicality, the U.S. is built on that democracy. I'm not sure what the point is. But.
You've moved your mic again, and I didn't understand a word of what you just said then.
Yeah,
you're a little quiet, bub. You're just a little.
I know. I'm trying to find a freaking setting that actually works. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, it's just I forget. That's the Blue Shark or something, isn't it?
Yeah, the Blue Yeti, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's got all those different settings on it.
Is it one of those where it's directional and you actually have to speak into the?
No, it's omnidirectional. You can have.
It's the Blue Yeti, and it sucks.
Yeah. Blue Yeti.
Because
Blue Yeti.
It is according to Panoverse or Google or Yahoo or whatever, is the best microphone ever.
The Shure. Unfortunately, Flo's got his hands on one, and that Shure mic that Flo's got. They are the best ones for.
I got a better one, but I can't find my. I can't find my freaking cable. Anyways, I will speak loudly into it. All right, gotcha.
David Wayne has been very quiet.
Please.
How's it going? I just wanted to say that I was grateful to find you, Jack. I did find you through Flo. I never kept up with any of the. I think the first time I heard you speak was when he come to meet you at the hotel. That was pretty cool. I like that. I'm sorry, I have traffic going by. I'm at the job site.
That's part of what changed my mind about you, Jack. And I made me think. Actually, do you know what? Actually, there seems to be a person underneath whatever it was that I thought I was
How
seeing.
how well
Mm,
spirited of Flo though? How well spirited of
yes.
Flo to do that? That was awesome on Flo's part. I love that. I like
You know what?
Flo. You know.
I've
Flo's a dark horse. He's
he
a
is.
Yeah.
like he's the sort of guy that he'll do the right thing and he'll do a good thing. Like
Well, I've been critical of him, but I can't deny that was pretty darn cool, right? He made sure to co-create and collaborate with me when the opportunity was there, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun with the guy, but there's a darkness that can't be denied, and I think that's why we met. I think that's why I've met a lot of the people who I've met, because some of the people show me their darkness and I get to recognize myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree.
But you know what? Each day, this is what I've resolved for myself. Each day is a new opportunity. If I did wrong yesterday, I am perfectly capable of apologizing, being honest, right? Because that's true love. True love is honest, it's revealing. Back to the government topic, revealing, transparency, and honesty, bringing love into the administration and governance of our society. It's possible if we awaken or we bring the right people into the systems. And this is where I think we have incredible opportunities. If it's not me, please consider these ideas. If
well,
it's not me, picture someone else doing this.
what I was
Who
going to
are the
say
right
to you,
people?
Jack. What I was going to say though is that one of the things that I've been thinking a lot over the last year or so is that none of us that are here awake and aware and seeing what's going on, witnessing what's going on, and aware of how wrong it is. Right? We're not here for now. All we're meant to do now is witness it. We witness everything that happens, and we remember it, right? So that because there is going to come a time in the next 15, 20 years when society is going to collapse. It is going to
Yeah.
collapse on a entire on the around the entire earth. Society is going to collapse, and it's gonna have to be rebuilt, and that's where we come in.
Let me
Oh, okay.
let me throw a wrench into that idea, or a new twist, a possibility I see. I believe we're watching the destruction right now,
Hmm.
and it is time for the new ideas to emerge. We can take the broken stuff and we can fix it. We can bring healing. Here's the idea, right? If it's not me, this is what I see as a clear solution. The divided nation we've got right now in America, the riots in LA and New York City and all, the ICE enforcement coming out. We're heading towards more militarization, more tech, more the
Technocracy.
technologies. Yeah, we're heading towards that if we don't interrupt it. So here's the solution I see. A divided nation is a result of poor leadership. We have divided leadership, which I know I'm just it's a concept, right? The position is a position that is supposed to be trusted for leadership. Leadership is honest and in service of the public. We've got Republicans and Democrats fighting over political lines, and we've politicized the entire world under this false religion of money, worshiping the almighty dollar. We got Donald Trump is serving the almighty dollar, and the American militarization and supremacy that his buddy Xi Jinping gets to declare, right? That's what he wants for himself.
Have you
So
got? Do you guys know that Donald Trump is the only president without a history of having a family that had servants.
That what?
I believe it.
That what? Sorry.
That he
Without
is the only family, that he's the only president that did not have any servants as family.
He
his
didn't. He
family,
didn't. He didn't. He didn't take a paycheck when he was in for the first 4 years, did he? He
well, he
lost.
made
I,
plenty of money. He made plenty of money off of his connections and real estate. There was investigations and allegations brought forth, but he knows how to use the systems. He's got great uh, legal and political advisors around him. But he doesn't. I don't think he's as smart as he thinks he is. He's
no.
sure as hell not as smart as all of his worshippers believe him to be. I want to call him out on his bullshit, to be
What's
honest.
What's
You
happened this
know,
What's happened this year has just completely destroyed the image that he put forward of himself. I remember him saying, we all remember him saying, "Oh, you watch, 24 hours, I'll have this war ended in
Yep,
Ukraine. I'll get it all sorted out." Probably before I even come into office.
right.
And it
He's a
really has
liar.
thought, well,
no,
no, I don't
in
think
all fairness, in all
it's not.
fairness,
I think
get
he
what
thought he could do it. I think he really thought he could. His ego was that big.
Double
His relationship with Putin was that
Right.
strong that he would be
But
able
he
to.
but he doesn't care about being honest. He doesn't follow through with what he says. At the time, he probably thought, "Oh yeah, they'll just listen to me and I just make it happen." But he's not. He's in delusions, dude.
Yeah,
Sincerely,
well,
we have a
what do you think
president.
it is that?
We have a
What,
president who is literally insane.
what do you think that is, Jeff? Because the people allow him to be.
Right.
I
And
mean,
that's what I'm
we get the leaders
suggesting.
we deserve.
I'm one of the people who no longer consents. I'm one of the people who no longer gives fear or excuses power. I give
Do,
power to opportunity and to what might be possible if we move with faith.
do you believe that he is the Antichrist?
It's irrelevant. He is what I'm saying. He's the president of the United States who's suffering from some severe delusions of grandeur. He's demonstrating many symptoms of unresolved childhood trauma. And since he's a public persona, his past is pretty open. His he grew up without the love and compassion of a mother, and then he had a very strict and controlling, successful father. So he had some great and poor examples around him. He learned the power of authority through his military education, right? The military school. So he didn't serve the military like I did, but we grew up similar times, different ways. The difference between me and Donald Trump is he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth and a lot of good examples of success and a lot of helpful advice and people to bail him out. Me and most of the working class, we're not like that. But it doesn't change our value. My value is just as great as Donald Trump's, and so is yours. Matter of fact, we're not causing as much damage in the world, so maybe we're even a little better than him.
I'd argue that, right, that we're not dealing with rotten eggs. We're dealing with rotten apples, and rotten apples, you got to throw the entire fucking crate out. So the best thing that we can do, everybody's giving their power to these authorities, we're giving our power to these systems, these institutions and corporations. People can fucking vote with their dollar and vote with their feet and vote with their actions. If we were to build a parallel society, I mean, people have been doing it since the coup, basically, trying to go out and set up off grid and everything. But if we were to do it in larger groups, it would be a much more achievable thing.
So what? Sorry, I didn't totally get that.
To get into situations where we're not
No,
reliant. Eh?
Since the what? You said since the
Oh, since the coof.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just still using hobo slang for the
Thank you.
event 5 years ago.
Thank you.
That obviously got everybody realizing how dependent we are on the system and everything, and a lot of people saying, "Fuck this shit, we can do this. We can do this by ourselves. We don't, we can create our own electricity. We can fucking grow our own vegetables. We can do all these things." And now that I know in the States, there are states that are clamping down on shit like that. In the last 5 years, they've clamped down really hard on it, and they have done in the UK as well.
Yes, but we individually we can do it, but things are so much easier when we can work together.
Right.
And I believe the future of mankind, we are heading in this direction. When we work together, we'll bring the end of wars and reform. When we bring the end of world wars and reform, we work together. It's just like individual relationships. When we stop arguing and fighting, we can discuss what is real, and when we can agree with what is real and what is important, I think we can end wars and bring peace to the world.
How do you guys think that the world, Jack, for example, before you became religious and thought that God was your Lord and Savior, what do you think that, how did the world succumb? Was it the Big Bang Theory? Was it Neanderthals? Was it Homo sapiens? How did you think that the world would survive? Hunters. I mean, that is the technical term, right? Well, that's not the technical term. That is how people believe and how people survive. Right?
Please hold on. Your mic, Frank, your mic really sucks, dude.
Really,
it's so hard to understand you.
It sounds like Mike is underneath a pillow or something.
And here we actually have another guest who I've been wanting to talk to. So please be respectful and let me introduce Corey Enderle. Welcome, brother. How are you, my friend?
Yo, what up?
Thank you for meeting me.
And don't worry, if he gets his stuff fixing, you can interrupt me anytime.
Shout out to OTW as well, man.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the shout out there. Yeah, shout out to you too, 00.
What's up?
So
I know I've been lurking, but I've never come on to the live stream. So
that's what I thought. But you and I did have a conversation, did we not? Offline? Yeah. Yes, and I love your stuff, if I remember right. I love the stuff you're sharing. Natural is the answer. That's your focus, and you're helping educate a lot of people with that, right?
Yes, nature is the answer. Yeah, and I've been doing it for several years now, and I have thousands of videos, and now I'm doing TikToks and all sorts of things: documentaries, interviews, recipes. Anything you can think of. I even do local events and near Tampa, Florida. If anybody is from Florida, I network all sorts of people together. We have food forest projects. We're growing food. We're building things, off-grid places, Airbnbs. We're doing it all. And I'm bringing all these businesses together in the area. We're creating roundtables. I'm working with the college students, creating events and with organizations there. It's pretty darn awesome. So, just working on it. So I figured I'd say hi and be like, how's it going?
I think that's a really good testament. That shows that really there's a lot more going on out there than I'm aware of. There are actually a fuckload of people that they're not on, but we don't know about them because they're not on the internet. They're just getting on with it. They're going and doing it and getting on with it. And we might hear a few stories here and there, but obviously, there are some people creating on YouTube. It's just it's not getting promoted by YouTube.
A lot of people.
And the timing of you showing up is perfect because you're describing what you're doing is describing just what 007 is saying. What I was hearing him say is the solution, right? Mm-hmm. And this is what I feel I've been so blessed to discover. I found out there was so many people who gave a shit, right? Like me, there's a lot of organizations. There's a lot of men and women who Maybe they're not in the mainstream. You don't know of them, but they're out there.
Yep.
This is the mystery of life. The answers are there for those who seek. And for those who have found answers, they're sharing, right? That's what I feel we're doing with these conversations. We found some answers. We don't have them all, but we've got enough that we can share some to help others.
Absolutely. And there's people always, anytime I talk to someone, they think, oh, I'm all alone. I'm the only person who sees this. It's like, no, absolutely. There's someone down your road you probably never even met who actually is questioning things just as much as you are, and they think they're alone. And it happens all the time where I'll meet somebody, and the next day I meet someone else who's like basically in the same town or the same city, and I'm like, why don't you guys connect? It's like everybody thinks they're all alone. Everybody thinks everyone else is sheeple. Like, have you tried talking to the average person? They know what's going on. It's just like the average person knowing that what they're eating is unhealthy, but they do it anyways. They need a little bit of motivation. They need someone else there with them. They need just a little bit of inspiration to get them to the next point.
Can I ask, how long have you known? How long have you been on this path?
Since I was 13. I was born in 2000. So I started researching when I was 13.
That's fucking awesome, man. But so
that's amazing.
I've been awake in that sense since really since 2009 when I woke up to geoengineering, and then 2013 I woke up to everything else, and it's been just it's been a journey since then.
Wow.
But 2020 and what happened in 2020, in a way, was a blessing, because the masks came off. Everybody, it's funny because when people put their mask on, it was actually taking their masks off, wasn't it? But it created a wave of conscious awareness, people becoming consciously aware of what's going on. If you noticed a big uptake, in the last 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. There's a double effect there. When every time they push against God, truth, or nature, it's only revealing it to certain individuals more. That's why I say, when the world becomes more technocratic and stuff, these messages are only going to become more relevant, not less, over time. But our goal should actually be to become less relevant, because that would mean that more people understand what we're saying. So there's an irony in the truth. There's an irony in nature. When you see it everywhere, that's when you start to see these patterns, and can see through different layers of deceptions too, because that's how they play on people. They play on the good side of people to create the most amount of evil.
Yeah.
Yes. And in 2020, this is what I was looking at, watching it happen. It's part of the process of enlightenment. The dark night of the soul is going to cause people to face their fears. And what's the greatest fears that most people have? Their health and their wallet. You shut down the economy, you tell everyone there's a health scare, and all of a sudden everyone's facing their fears.
Yep.
And we're divided, so we're facing our fears alone. This is a perfect spiritual design that we're a part of. Let's overcome the fears together. Mm-hmm. Let's bring the light forward.
And then with that message of, not having fear, there's people who they take that to the extreme of saying, oh, well, we should never look at anything negative. We should, stay away from all that and promote only peace and love and harmony. You see what I mean? So this is how people in power have kept their positions, is by playing on the psychology of people, and those individuals are kept in a victimhood mentality. And then they basically ask for their own enslavement over time without realizing it. And it's all under the pretense of order and good and freedom. And we saw that with like the Patriot Act, and they call it something good just by the name, but yet it's totally something else.
Well,
and someone said in the chat, I'm a Mark Passio disciple. I'm not a disciple of anybody, just to be clear. But if any of you guys know my background, I have done a lot of content regarding like natural law and topics regarding, ideas around anarchism in the spiritual sense that Mark Passio talks about. He was somebody who left the Church of Satanism and started exposing a lot of different things. And I lived in Pennsylvania, so he was in Philly. And so he was sharing a bunch of different information and doing a bunch of speaking rallies and all sorts of things. It's very powerful stuff, but I recommend people always think for themselves and learn from everybody, you know?
Yes.
So,
Mark was an influence on he helped me better understand natural law. He's a good instructor in many ways, but I'd love to meet him and discuss his anger issues with him.
A lot of people would.
I think he could use some help with that. Go ahead. What, Frank?
I hope my mic is good now. It should be fixed.
Yes.
Dude, much better. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Sounds good.
So Corey, I have a question.
Sure, man.
Well, I'm not sure if it is a question. So, you needed to have somebody from the religion of Satan, of Satanism, so presumably Anton LaVey, and that he exposed what exactly?
Yeah, Anton LaVey actually. So that's the Church of Satanism. That was based in New York. Mark was directly part of that, and then he left that as basically like a whistleblower. And that's something that he has to share with a lot of people. But he has seminars, like literally 9-hour seminars on like every single topic. And that's why a lot of people know who he is. It's very detailed work that's condensed. And he only puts out like a seminar like once every couple of months. Sometimes he hasn't even appeared in the past couple of months. And, you know, he's taking a lot of downtime. He has a lot of family things going on. Philly's also not the best city to be in. I want him to come to Florida and hang out with us in the food forest. But, you know, might help with the anger thing too. But just saying.
Why call him a whistleblower though? Isn't that someone that just, I don't know, thought, you know, I'm just gonna dip out because this is getting really serious for me?
Sure, if you want to call it that or not, it doesn't matter. The point is that they have information that they're bringing to light that is previously kept in the dark.
Anton LaVey was an atheist, wasn't he? There's whole thing about Satanism it's not that he believed in Satan. He didn't believe in God or Satan. He was just taking the piss.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm asking. Why is he a whistleblower? Because he was obviously opposite. He felt like an outsider, so he took the other side.
Well, obviously there were things going on in that church.
Of course. Yeah,
Other people left too and started speaking up about it. It wasn't just him. He made more of an influence talking about it, but there's others that left and they became like Buddhist monks and stuff.
I actually met a lad here who was like 15 years old, and he was
Sorry, please hold that story.
He was a self-proclaimed Satanist, and
it's okay. Thank you. I was trying to finish the story about the 15-year-old self-proclaimed.
He was a self-proclaimed Satanist, and he had Anton LaVey's book there, and like he read it all the time. And we were talking about it. He was just, I mean, that's how I found out that he didn't really, you know, it wasn't really about Satan. It was just about the non-existence of God.
Well, he loves OTW.
And regarding Passio, he's not just exposing the Satanist. He's dug into where did this information come from? What's the history of all of this? And he's looked into the secret societies, the influences of how our nation has become the way it is. There's a ton of information out there for us to discover.
I mean, wouldn't you consider that a conspiracy, though? I mean, we just talk about.
I consider it factual. I mean, the names, the names and identifying it. I identify it as facts, and the facts reveal a problem. We've got a problem in this nation and in the world, and it's because of selfishness. Selfishness and confusion has divided good people. We're not trusting each other. We're not paying attention to each other. We're not even listening to each other most of the time.
And religion isn't religion the sense of egotism?
I am of the belief that religion, politics, economics are all of the world. Okay? Now, they all point to things that exist within the world and beyond the world, but I want to align most with what the religions are pointing towards, because what they're pointing towards is peace and unity, being united together as the living truth and becoming the honest expression of divine love here on earth. It's within us all.
I think we're never going to get the state of this realm. I don't believe that this realm has ever been in a state where everybody has been living in that world, because that would be heaven on earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
If everybody could just get on with each other and
Yes.
instead of being enemies with each other, love each other like we're family,
Yeah.
care for each other. I know that if I help somebody that needs help, and I give them my last penny to help them, I know that I'll be all right because I'll be helped out by my family and my friends and whatever. We all helped each other. That would be heaven on earth. It's all about, like I said again, it's about perception, isn't it?
Yes.
So if everybody's walking around with these perceptions of each other, perceptions of themselves, perceptions of the world that we live in, perceptions of our government, perceptions of our institutions, and they're all inaccurate. They're all they're wrong. We've got the wrong perception because we've been programmed. It's been drilled into us since we popped out of our mom's fucking belly.
It's been long from before we were born. Okay, this has been the natural order, and what you're saying, I really think the intelligence behind what we're experiencing has some amazing and exciting things in store for us. Because what you just said, you're right. In our recorded time, in the records that we have as our history, there has never been a time where mankind had peace and was united all around the world. However, we don't know how the pyramids were built. And we've got pyramids on ley lines, and we've got all these relics from ancient past that we don't understand.
Amazing architecture, absolutely breathtaking architecture that we don't understand how they did it so long ago. So maybe they are lying to us about history. Everything they've taught us about history is a lie. We haven't always been at war with each other. It's not always been like this. There was a time when people did actually have a more accurate perception of each other and this earth plane that we're living in. And maybe it was a golden age, but we are never gonna fucking know because every single ounce of proof of that has been destroyed.
Take this situation in LA, for example. Our conversations are not being publicized. That is. That CNN and Fox is going to run wild with this footage. They're not even on site. They're buying footage from independent journalists, I'm assuming, to create their own narrative. But still, they're not up there with these conversations. It's always doom and gloom.
What's CNN?
They haven't reached the place where they're able to recognize what these conversations are even about. Conversations
they want
like
division.
It makes their head hurt. It makes their brain hurt because it causes cognitive dissonance. There's so much cognitive dissonance that people are dealing with.
This is where community and healthy relationships are so critically important for our survival, individually and collectively. We've got to help each other wake up. We got to stop enabling the confusion and the patterns of bitterness and addiction the best we can. Now, what I found is true for me. We don't have to be perfect to be able to help someone. We don't have to know the exact words. We don't have to know everything, but if we can be present with someone who's showing some symptoms, having some problems, if you can be present with that person and have trust, share trust in the moment, and speak from the heart, honestly, that's the key. The key to connection in relationship. It's so simple. Heart to heart. Hearts are honest. Love is honest. So allow the heart to reveal the words, the right words, the words of care, the words of concern, right?
A
And
lot
we
of
can
that
help
you have to
each
be
other.
present to convey. A lot of that you do have to be present to convey. You've got to be in the same room with someone to convey those emotions and to convey, just the general sense of what you're feeling and the
I mean,
compassion.
you could say in the same space, like we're all in the same room whilst being dotted all over the earth. It's just in the same
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
In this realm, though, it is easy. There's a lot of people they've got this veil in their head where this is just characters. None of this is real. It's all pretend. So they come up and they pretend to be a character, and then they're rude, and the energies aren't really felt. I've been trying to figure out how to communicate, with personal connection in this new realm, the digital realm. It can be tough, but people are tough. We're all tougher than we've been told, man.
I mean, isn't that the same concept, Jeff or Jack? When I, for example, first interviewed you, that I, for example, can now have a different aspect of you. I could now have a different vision of you. Of maybe you have grown, maybe I have some. Do you think that's fair to say?
I do. And I hope people can see or find the growth in me, because if you can find the growth in me, that means it's available within you. And that's what we're here to do. And I have been working on trying to grow me.
Trust me, I don't think that you need to grow, because that's why I'm still on here, because I still love you to hell, to God, whatever you prefer. I don't think that you're a wrong guy. I still prefer you over anybody else that is potentially, because I think that you're a fair guy. And whatever you try to present, I try to adjust, because I'm trying to understand what you're trying to present. I think that is fair of me.
It's not really complicated. Jack's a man of peace. He's bringing peace. He's bringing love. He's just being charitable, compassionate. He has empathy for others. He wants to listen to them. Right. So I mean, with all the bickering and all the pot shots from the sidelines, I actually ended up not really understanding why people want to be so belligerent towards a man of peace like that.
Because I'm not. I just know him differently than he is now.
Well, I wasn't pointing the fingers at you. I was more or less generalizing.
Okay.
Who's attacking you, Jack? Is it just people in the chat? Because that's just the internet.
No, I'm not understanding where this attacking is coming from.
It was the same two individuals.
Actually, without pulling any victim card, the truth is, when I found God, I started getting attacked. People stopped even trying to understand me. They just found all sorts of negative feedback, right? So that's what started showing me how crazy this world is. And no offense to anyone who's been a part, but my time here online, it has proven to me people are nuts. They're absolutely insane. They look sane. They get, you can treat them sane, but they're not. They're crazy. They're confused and angry and bitter. But that's how I used to be too.
Well, let me ask you. When I had an interview with you, right? I think that, I was skeptical, and you said your piece. I think that we were in total harmony. I think we accepted each other for what we are, and that was it. Is that right or not?
Yeah, I think so.
So my question is, and I truly hope that you don't think that I'm being offensive, because I respect you, and but I do think that you have become more passionate. And I think that's not a wrongful term to say. And, if I pissed you off, I think that's fair enough because I'm trying to understand why you are so passionate. Because I'm a passionate guy as well. And I'm just trying to understand as to why. So, Jack, listen, my man, if I come on, I do not mean to piss you off.
I know.
If I ask questions, I am trying to understand.
Right.
Because that's the
But
beauty of
from what I can
society.
see,
Right?
it's not really hard to understand where Jack feeds or fuels that passion. It's directly from the source, right? It's from God. God is in the works.
That's
Well,
where I
that's
give my credit to. And can I offer, Frank? I trust your words are true, but I also know the patterns of our egos. Okay, and the pattern of the ego will get our it'll build these ideas that we have to try, we have to succeed, we put these pressures on ourselves, and then we screw up because we're not actually paying attention and just allowing what is to be. I actually think, Frank, I know you can understand. The part that's trying to understand is actually the part that's in the way of your understanding, because what I'm saying is stuff you already know. You might have forgotten it or hadn't been putting it into practice for a bit, but I'm confident of what I'm saying, my brother.
and convince me.
That's not the job of the truth. The truth requires no convincing. The
Then I
truth must be
promise.
accepted. If you don't want the truth, I mean, I can explain the truth, but only you can choose to understand it.
But then it would be only your truth,
The
Jack.
convincing part will come in living it. Jack
There you
is
go.
trying to live it. That would be the explain that to you. It's not with words. You just need to pay attention to Jack like you are. I respect your opinion, Frank, but you have to just pay attention. Not but. I'm sure you're paying attention to him, but just continue paying attention to him. Keep hanging out.
It's like truth is in the eye of the beholder, right? And you have to seek it. If you don't seek it, you're not going to find it. Nobody's like
I also say seems to be a great dependence here on Jack or select individuals, just as people talk about Trump all day or whatever. If he's just pointing to the truth, then look at the truth. I
yeah.
don't see why we have to be like, listen to Jack, watch Jack. It's like, well,
I
watch
don't
yourself,
see that at all.
watch the truth. Then you might just so
That,
happen to agree with Jack, and Jack will just be like, okay, but like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's very
Watch and pay
interesting. There's a
attention to the
fixation
truth.
on people.
I don't think that I am saying that at all.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying people in the chat, other, people mentioning my name too. I'm like, who cares? I'm just here. I'm just
the
present.
trouble is the
thank
thing
you.
is though, there's always going to be this aspect of society, this part of society that all they're ever going to be able to do is follow. That's all they're ever going to be able to do, and they need somebody to tell them. It's not. It's just that where different people are in their. I mean, I think that we live a lot long. We've got souls that live. I believe in reincarnation. Basically, I believe that the souls we're carrying were here 2,000 years ago. I think we're walking around with those same souls with just different vessels, and um, yeah, I've
Yeah,
lost my thought.
Here,
I
I,
Sorry.
agree.
I
Jesus
think
was
that
an incarnate.
I
Say
think the
again.
explanation of truth should be truth has a definition. Truth should be explained. If you say to somebody that they need to understand the truth, that is essentially saying in layman terms, I agree to disagree, which is unfair because
well,
that truth is just as you said, 007, the truth is within the beholder, and the beholder is upon yourself. So saying that the
Dave,
truth, you don't understand the truth, and saying like an ego question, I think it's unfair.
well, Frank, that's what you're showing. You're showing what you're saying. The ego truth. You've clinged on to this. I don't have clarity on what it is, but what David Wayne said is the most that is the reality. You take what's in the mind, okay? If you're willing to just play a game with yourself, take some of the ideas I share, try them out. Try them out for a day. See if you can develop your own individual healthy practice of gratitude by staying present in the life that you are living, grounded in the present moment with a heart set for the future of your desires. And you live in the moment for the future, not from the past, for the future. You live today for something greater. And that
So,
is
so
all
you're
I'm trying
saying,
to share.
so you're saying what I don't believe in your aspect that I am wrong, that I am egotistical.
Is that what you heard?
That is what I heard.
Well, please look within because those are not the words I said, Frank. But I trust you're perfectly who you are. And who you've been has brought you to where you are, just as who I've been brought me to where I am. We're all here sharing today. What a glorious gift. The gift of being present in the here and now, because within the here and now contains evidence of the eternal past. And from the moment of now will spring forth the eternal future. And like 007 said, if you get into the spiritual idea of consciousness and life, there's a spirit to life that is far greater than the physical form.
Do you think it's fair to speak for other people?
Do you think it's fair to do what?
To speak for other people?
He
What?
wasn't.
What
He
is
wasn't
prompting
speaking for
you?
me. He was just referencing something that
I know, but I'm asking a direct question. Do you think it's fair to speak for other people? Just
Okay,
because
so
something's working for you, it doesn't mean that for somebody else, right?
Frank, why do you think we're so different? Rather than try to understand that the similar pattern might actually have some value, because there is a common denominator to us all regarding the genetics of the human prototype. I mean, we come in a lot of different colors and shades and different varieties, but genetically, we're all pretty much the same as everything else here on Earth. We're all made from atoms and the elements of fire, earth, wind, water, ether. We're all that, and yet at the same time, what's an idea? It's nothing.
Well, to be honest, just because just to
There's always
cover that
nuance.
is nuances in here is that you had your own troubles. I mean, if you were such a perfect human being and everybody would have such a
We never claim
revolution.
to be perfect. I
No,
think there's always
I'm just
nuance
saying
though with everything
the
everybody
concept is
says.
that Jack
If
had
you want
his
to
own
nitpick, you
problems.
can all
Everybody had
day.
his own
Frank,
problems.
please, brother,
Can I,
your audio.
can I talk? Can I make an
Well,
argument?
yeah, you like to argue, and what I've really been hoping for you to do is want to understand. And your audio
I'm trying
sucks.
to understand
Well, I know you're saying that, but what is coming through is not understanding. It's
because I
coming
don't
through
think that
as
you can because I don't think that you can argue it, Jack.
right. Stop trying to argue. Stop trying to prove yourself right and see ourselves as just here and now.
I'm not
Because
trying to
frankly,
prove myself right.
to be honest, Frank, I've been entertaining your disagreements and trying to lead you by the hand to the still waters so that you can drink. But Corey, do you still remember your
Wow,
thought,
Jack.
brother?
No, I don't
Wow,
even know
Jack.
what's happening. I'll be honest. But at the same time,
No,
I do see little bits of nuance always in everything that could be mentioned. When you talk about heart, I mean, I'm thinking someone could be thinking too emotionally. If you're talking about religion, you could be thinking to right brain, feminine based. There's always like different nuances to it, but Frank, I don't know. Am I missing something? Did you say something that's like an actual critique of Jack? Because I don't know. Your mic cuts in and out here and there. But
Yeah, sure. That because that is the excuse, right? Because Jack heard me perfectly, but that's cute.
Can
Hey,
I?
Frank.
Anyways,
Frank,
Jack,
no,
it's good to
hold
meet you,
on,
man.
dude. Tell you
Can I?
what. Hold on. You clearly have some sort of what? What's the deal, Frank? You feel like I victimize you, I treat you unfairly because your mic does suck and you don't want to accept what I'm saying? Is that what you want to feel?
Well, to be honest, I don't think that you accept what I am saying.
Why should I, Frank? You raise
Because
objections.
you can't argue it.
Frank, I have no desire to argue with you. I already know. Okay? Your doubts are your problems. Your doubts are your insecurities, brother. Your insecurities are showing. So
Well,
how can
Jack,
I help you?
well, to be honest, I don't think it's my insecurity. I think it's more your insecurity because if you
I
can't
know.
explain something,
I know.
then you
Frank,
should be honest with that.
tell you
Because
what, Frank. Frank, please forgive the interruption. I've listened to you narrate falsely about me. So how about this? Why don't you help me? What questions will help you better understand? I've answered a number of questions and I don't feel we've made much progress, but I know we can. So how can I help, Frank?
The way that you can help me is tell me what did I do wrong to you.
Okay. I actually feel I've told you several times.
No, you
One of
didn't.
If you hear me this answer and you reflect back honestly, you'll probably find that you did
Trust
hear
me,
it
I'm smart enough to do
before.
that, Jack.
So one of the big issues I've had with you has been your microphone. Despite your denial of that, that is a reasonable excuse for me as a man who cares about the broadcast quality and the conversations that we're having here. So you've been coming through all muffled and real poor quality. And then on top of that, you keep asking me to answer to your doubts, okay? And you keep presenting cases that I'm viewing a lot of the disagreements as kind of straw man arguments because you're showing that you don't understand what I'm saying.
All right.
But
So
you want to play it.
I understand you.
Correct.
I interviewed you.
So what? You clearly didn't listen to me because I remember vaguely what I said. I shared my story and you clearly did not understand me then. And so I'm still waiting for you to understand me.
Did I respect you?
I believe that. I appreciate that.
Do you respect me right now?
I do. I do, actually.
No,
and Frank, I actually do. Okay.
No, you don't.
You're going to
You can
believe
say that you do. You can say that you do. The first time that I jumped on again, I actually protected you. I actually came up for you. I can have several fucking people here to actually witness that actually were here to witness that. You didn't do. You didn't do that. You didn't respect me. Because the only thing that you want is because you got so much attention right now, because it was last year, Jack, that I actually invited you on. It was on my show, it was on my old channel that I actually had you on. And the thing that you do is that you try so extremely hard to accumulate for something, and I respected that. You accumulate for something that actually helps people, but now you don't help people. You victimize it. You got so caught up in the attention that you actually try to victimize, is that you're doing the exact same thing that people are trying to help you with.
That was me who did that. Okay. So I've sat here and I've listened to your projection. Now what? What do we do from here, Frank?
So you're saying that I am projecting, Jack? Really?
Regardless, I submit. You're in control. What do we do now?
Dude, it is your show. If you think that I am
Is it?
being unfair, then why don't kick me?
Because I was extending some kindness and I've actually given you more attention than your gratitude deserves. So enjoy the rest of your day. And when you can learn how to be, tell you what, Frank, go be a victim somewhere else. Okay. I'm sorry I hurt you. Sorry for that. Thank you for the patience. I don't know what to do sometimes.
You did the right thing, Jack. Well, from my perspective, I don't know if other people might have the same opinion as me. And it's not that it's actually relevant because you're old enough to know what you want to do. And it's your channel. You know how do you want to run things. And I mean, like I said the last time I was here, it seems like people just think that this is a debate channel.
I own that. That's how I entertained a lot of this for a long time, and that's the reputation I've grown. But thank you. I am hoping to change this. And Kara, I forgot already.
It's Kara.
Kara, thank you. Welcome back.
Yeah,
Thank you for your patience. How are you today?
sure. I'm good. Just got off work.
Amen. Well, finding peace from
Uh,
a world of the damned. How
right.
appropriate.
I, if you don't mind, I wanted to kind of speak on Frank's behalf. Do you mind?
Please do.
So
Please.
I've been kind of following, every time that y'all talk on here, and it seems like y'all have pretty good convers. I'm from Texas. If you don't know my accent by now, um, I've been following your conversations, and y'all know normally have really good conversations with each other, and I enjoy it. Of course, I always watch you. I enjoy your show, but the last couple of times, it has seemed odd to me. I think, not including today, but the other, I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago. You were talking about money. Money is the root of all evil. You remember everybody in the comments, they were having the talk about all that. And he was asking about, so when the Bible says money is the root of all things evil, how is it that you accept donations? And he and I talked about that later on, but I, I think that you got offended by maybe the way he asked it, but I've known him for a long time, and he's really just curious. He was really just curious, and I think that's what he's talking about. I
It's the
think y'all
love of
maybe had
money,
just a misunderstanding, a miscommunication today.
and it's the love of money. It's not
Yeah,
Yeah,
money.
we
It's the
Right.
we
love of
talked.
money.
correct.
So
We, we
accepting
talked.
the appreciation of others, even if it's in the form of fiat currency, is still appreciation. And Jack is,
Right, I agree. I
I
Yeah.
agree.
mean, why would you want to blame Jack for he's not grifting? People are supporting. It's
Right.
different.
Well, I mean, I work at my job and I get money for it, but and I explained to him. So, like, if God gave you X amount of dollar, or you got X amount of dollars, let's say you won the lottery. Not that you should be playing, but let's say you win the lottery, and God says, "Hey, I want you to give all of that to the homeless, all of that over here." If you're not willing to do that because you want that money and it's all yours, and you know what I mean, you covet that money, then it becomes an idol to you. And that's kind of how I explained it to him. And I think y'all just had a really bad misunderstanding on it.
Well, this is a pattern with me, Kara. I've recognized a pattern. I don't know how to completely overcome it on my own, but it's been a pattern my whole life. And I think I'm much like in many others. I've been underestimated. I've been misunderstood by many. And that underestimating, that misunderstanding causes confusion. And then when people feel confused by me, well, they don't want to accept responsibility. They want to blame me for what they don't understand. And then I spend a lot of time trying to answer questions of people who don't really want to understand. They want to be right. And I think that's what Frank's doing, to be honest. He doesn't realize that's what's happening, but that's what I feel I'm dealing with.
Yeah, I think you were just really on the money situation. I think he just really wanted to have an understanding of how you see it.
Well, I don't understand how it's confusing. I mean,
Yeah.
just spend half a moment to try and think. Why would Jack accept fiat? Even though he's saying he wants to reform the world and
Hmm.
end the reliance on fiat, why logically would Jack accept some? Could it be because Jack hasn't succeeded yet? Could it be that I still have to live in this same world that charges money for
For
everything?
everything.
Right. Yeah, you still live in the same reality as everybody else does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to
Yes.
survive.
This is the insanity. We all share the same reality, and people want to deny that there's similarities between us.
And
We
isn't it
want to
written in
think,
scripture, be in the world, but not of the world?
Yes.
So
yeah,
that means you can operate in it and use the tools that are provided for you
Correct.
to operate in the world, but not be a slave of the world and be run
Right.
by the world and let the money run you and let all of these things run your life.
Right.
amen.
No, I agree.
And truly, when people contribute to me, I appreciate the generosity. Okay, whether it's the fiat or even just encouraging comments, anything helps
Yeah.
in this life. Because when we encourage each other, guys, I've had conversations about this recently. The importance of heartfelt communication. You actually show someone you care, you can save someone's life. It's that critical on us.
It's true.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
just the slightest amount of showing someone that you care, it can lighten up their whole freaking day, man.
Yeah. You never
As
know what kind of day somebody's had.
Well, and as we're saying this, my own regret, I don't think I helped Frank have a better day. I didn't mean to bring him
So
discouragement or frustration. Go ahead, Double.
it's just an observation. Whenever there's dispute and when egos clash, generally 9 times out of 10, it's because of alcohol.
Huh.
Frank sounded like he'd had a few drinks. He was drinking a can. I don't know. I don't know if he was drunk, but he sounded to me like he'd had a couple of drinks. That can cause, that causes the Satan within us, the adversary within us, to come out, basically.
Sure.
Where our ego gets bigger, and our
Sure, but I think that it
conscience
says
gets quiet.
something. I think it says something good about Jack that he feels drawn to you, and uh, I can't even think of what to say. That he does feel drawn to you, and he enjoys the conversations with you. And I think that it says something about him coming on here,
I
to talk
agree.
to you.
I agree. He shows his respect by showing up. That's for sure. And I know he said some encouraging things about me
Sure.
elsewhere. So
He speaks highly of you.
I like the fact and respect the fact he didn't raise his voice at all.
yes, he's
He
a
was
very
very even tempered, very
yes.
Yes.
right. And the thing is, right, Jack, like I said to you, I had an impression of you, right, that changed when I saw your interaction with Flo when he came to see you in the hotel. And then when I saw you, when I was actually on a stream that you were on, and I listened to what you were saying. But I've, there was when I've watched a couple of your streams and not joined, because I've just been like, this is too much, man. This is too much. Because like I said, I felt that you with the God, with recognizing God and recognizing divinity and the beauty and love and everything. I felt like it was you were trying really hard to do that.
I think I was.
But I realized in myself, I recognized there was a time a few years ago when I did the same thing. I tried too fucking hard. And like you said, you've seen yourself in me. I've seen myself in you. And like I've been able to identify with some of the things that you talked about, and that I I got to the God thing, right? My whole thing from 2001, I was absolutely hell bent on making a connection with God and actually following the right path, finding the right path and following it. And I said to God, "You're gonna have to. I don't know how you're gonna do this. You can't do it through people. You can't do it through spirits. You can't do it through supernatural acts or anything like that. You can't, because any of these things, immediately afterwards, I'm going to question it. I mean, what the, yeah, but, you know, I thought it said it was an angel, but the devil's going to come dressed as an angel, isn't it? So, so because of the amount of doubt that I had that was sown by the fact of, you know, we're seeing what we see, even with what they've told us has occurred in history, which I don't agree in on the details, but even in those details, they're showing us how fucking wrong these people are in these positions, high positions in the church. You know, they've always been fiddling with young'uns. They've always been doing shit they shouldn't be doing, right? And I've always thought, well, if these guys know God and they believe the Bible, why the fuck are they doing the exact things that the Bible says not to do? Because you will be judged and you will go to hell. Right? It made no sense to me at all.
It's spiritual. People suffer due to a lack of wisdom. And the lack of wisdom, it is perpetuated through pride and arrogance and fear and all the worldly ways. Guys, we ran long today. I've enjoyed these conversations. 007, you already said it's late for you too. I think we should start wrapping up, and I'll do some final words on this. Oh my goodness.
Midnight, yeah. That's good. I should go to bed.
Casey, blessings to you. Peace, health, and happiness for all who see this. And may your blessings, health, happiness, may that flourish with and through and around you as well. Thank you, Casey. Blessings.
Thanks for having me, dude. I'm going to sign off. Good to see you, OTW. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Dwayne.
Yes.
And Carl. Bex.
Good seeing you, 00.
Good to see you, Bex.
Nice to meet you.
No, it's not that Bex. I thought it was the different Bex. I guess. Yeah. No, I was thinking. Sorry, I thought it was a different Bex. You've spelt it the same way, but never mind. All right. I'll see you later.
All right. Blessing. Thank you, brother. Yeah, Bex, you joined late. I didn't even. You've been patient. Kara, you too. Thoughts? Let's do some final. Let's do some final words. Kara, I appreciate you joining, and please, Frank, I intend no disrespect to him because he is a man worthy of respect, as was pointed out by 007. He presents himself very very well, politely, reasonably. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a problem with him. I just wish I could see a solution.
Y'all just have a miscommunication somewhere.
Yes, that's all it is. And that's the problem of the world, though. That's what I realized. Every one of my relationships was just a communication problem. Every war between the nations, it's a problem with diplomacy and a problem with breakdown in communication.
Yep.
That's why I believe the truth shall set us free. When we freely share the truth with each other, even if we hurt each other's feelings, as long as it's honest and as long as it's true, we'll find ways to figure it out. We just got to be willing to accept what is true. I don't know. Any
I have some final words I'd like to say real quick. I'm not going live tonight. After all,
I noticed
my plans changed. Yeah, see, the last minute change. So I'll be live tomorrow, back to a regularly scheduled program, and I have the. Hold on, let me cam up. I want to show this real quick for everybody that's watching right now. I have sent the painting to Truth or Cop. Here's the proof, right? This is like the. So Truth or Cop, please try and get a hold of me so I can give you the tracking number. Okay. All right. It's sent. Okay. You got the confirmation here. It's right here. You got 64 people watching. Anybody know Truth or Cop out there? Tell him his painting's on the way.
Amazing. That is a good update and exciting for the lore.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right. Other final words, folks? Karen?
Love from Kentucky, you guys. I'm going down the road, so this is a quickie. Good words today. Let's keep it going.
Much love, David Wayne. Thank you for joining, my friend. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you for having me back on.
Hey, thank you for returning. I appreciate it. I'm going to drop you out. Whoops. Sorry. I'm going to drop you out, Kara, unless anything else.
Bye.
All right. Blessings. And thank you for joining. Bex, did you even get to say anything? That's not really Bex, is it? Fascinating. Praise God. Brothers and sisters, thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight. All who clicked the link, joined the panel, all who tuned in, whether it's live or later, I tell you, this life we're living together, it really is a unique opportunity. And the world we live in, I started off earlier, we might be living in the world of the damned. Sometimes you're damned if you do, sometimes you're damned if you don't. But one thing to realize is you have no control over the results. You do have control over your efforts, your direction, your energy, your energetic state. You get to be in control of the quality of man or woman of you. You determine the quality that comes forth, whether it's bitterness or sweetness. You get to choose. That's how we all are. Holy cows. I don't want to really poke a bear, but I do need to share some sort of respect for this man has been patient for a long time. So if there's some energy, welcome, Tommy. You're muted, brother. I can't hear you. I think this might be best.
Say nigger, faggot. Why do you sit here at the end of your show and say we're all responsible for our outcome while trying to make an outcome yourself for everybody? You fucking moron.
Okay. I love you too, Tommy. Thank you for joining. Brothers and sisters, this is the life we're living, right? We get to choose what moves us, what we share with each other. But if we don't control ourselves, we will present ourselves as being out of control. Hello. If you don't control yourself, you will present yourself as being out of control. And if you give your power away, well, someone else controls you. If you give your power away through your choices of commitment, oath, right? Obligations to employers, all these other obligations and commitments, we can drive ourselves nuts, literally, with the obligations and the commitments. But the key that I found, what I want to wrap this up with, finding peace from the world of the damned. Don't be amongst the damned, be amongst the blessed. For the blessed, they can see, right? They can cognize, they can expand their mental capacity. They can use their tools, their God-given gifts. They can use the resources of the energy of the day wisely. Become conscious. Become still. Become true to who you are. And with peace, the conscious, be blessed. Recognize each moment, each new moment, with the bitterness, with the sweetness, with the pain, with the pleasure. Each new moment is a gift. And that gift of life continues as long as you're here. But once you're gone, you're gone. So let's see what we can do while we're here. That's my goal. Brothers and sisters, thank you again. And until next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all. Going out with the old outro. Peace.